7:30 on WB4 Sports.
You're watching the home of Indiana basketball, WB4 Sports.
Tonight on IU Warm-Up, we'll look back at last Saturday's victory over Wisconsin. We'll talk with IU assistant coach John Treelor about the Minnesota Golden Gophers. And Indiana coach Mike Davis will join us with tonight's scouting report. IU Warm-Up is brought to you by Marsh. We value you. Now, IU Warm-Up. And welcome to Assembly Hall. It's time for IU warm-up. The Minnesota Golden Gophers about ready to take on the Indiana Hoosiers in the Hoosiers' last home game of the year. Hello, everybody. John Laskowski with Ted Kitchell and John Treelor. And, boy, I tell you, the season goes fast. I know, Coach Treelor, it seems like it was just September, and now it's the final game. How quick did the season go for you?
Well, we've tried to take it one game at a time, John. And, you know, the guys have stuck with it, and we're in the middle of the hunt now, and that's where we want to be.
Well, let's take a look at those Big Ten standings. You're not in the middle of the hunt. You're right at the top of the hunt, as you're going to see Indiana in 4th place now all alone. Wisconsin lost last night to Michigan State, so Indiana 8-6, a chance to get to 10-6. And if Ohio State should lose at Penn State this coming Saturday, that could move the Hoosiers all the way to the 3rd spot.
Yeah, we know we've got a chance to go all the way to the 3rd spot, and what we need to do is just concentrate on tonight's game. We know it's going to be a very difficult opponent, but maybe tonight's payback time after what happened to us up there in Minneapolis.
Well, speaking of paybacks, let's go back to that Wisconsin game on Saturday and talk about some three-point shooting. I don't know what you did there, Coach, but this team was amazing as you look at the stats from that game against Wisconsin.
Well, you take a look at the stats. Indiana obviously shot the ball extremely well. I mean, to score 85 points against Wisconsin. Now, if you haven't sat down and watched Wisconsin last night, they held a very powerful Michigan State team to 51. So Indiana obviously played extremely well. That means they probably didn't turn the ball over very much, which you can see at the bottom. They only turned it over 11 times. And look at the three-point shooting. 14 of 19. If you're going to shoot the ball like that, you're going to win a lot of basketball games, and it makes the coaching staff look extremely good, doesn't it, Coach?
It sure does.
It started with Kyle Hornsby. He really got the Hoosiers going. He made 5 of 6 3-pointers, and he's really been an up-and-down guy, but when he starts hitting, it means good news for the Hoosiers.
Yeah, you know, by putting him into the starting lineup, I think it really opens up the floor a lot more for Kirk Haston and Jared Jeffries. And Kyle has he responded well by getting the start. We're going to start him again tonight. Here he is launching a deep one, and he just continued for the entire ball game, and I think some of the other guys fed off of him as well. Coverdale hit some threes in that ball game to really make a difference.
And then it was Tom Coverdale. He had 24 points in that ball game. He and Hornsby combined for 11 of 13 from three-point range.
Well, on Coverdale's situation, that game reminded me a lot of what he did for us in the Notre Dame game. You know, when Coverdale comes out and scores for us, it really makes a difference because so many teams have focused on stopping Haston and Jeffries that it leaves him open out there in the spot-up positions, and he needs to be able to hit it. We know that he takes the ball to the hole well and finishes well around the basket, but he needs to hit those spot-up shots as well.
Now, they don't necessarily need to make three-point shots. They need the guards to score to help offset the scoring from the inside guys.
Well, you know, as he mentioned, whenever the guards are scoring, obviously everybody is looking to try to double Kirk Haston whenever they get a chance. You know, and then Jeffries also, they're looking to double him down on the block. So whenever they get a chance, they're running at him. If your guards are going to hit shots, makes it very difficult to double team anybody with Hornsby and Coverdale. And then Newton is a guy that's getting on the board and doing the things that he needs to do. Very, very good team effort.
Kirk Haston averaging 20 points a game in Big Ten plays, the second leading scorer in the Big Ten, and he's just having a good all-around season for Indiana.
Yeah, you know, it was interesting in the Wisconsin game how Haston came out in the first 10 minutes of the ball game. He was unstoppable, and you know, I think that makes it good for the rest of the guys that he can come out and hit the points early, and then guys can play off of him, and he did a great job with that. Didn't score a lot in the second half, but it wasn't needed. Jared
Jeffries had a wonderful game, 8 of 8 from the field, and made his only free throw, so without missing a shot, a perfect day for Jared Jeffries.
Well, you know, I think Jared would admit that along the way it's been a learning and growing process for him. I think in a lot of ball games he's taken some shots that probably wasn't open or wasn't on balance. But in this ball game, I thought he really stayed within himself and within what the offense is looking to do. And he just did a great job. And like you said, it was a record performance for him.
It'll probably be a tough matchup for Minnesota in today's ball game. All right, time now for tonight's IU Flashback. It's brought to you by Touchstone Energy Partners. We are Indiana's electric cooperatives, and we go back to the first meeting against Minnesota earlier this year, where Indiana lost a 13-point lead in the final 3 minutes of the game. It went to overtime, and Minnesota pulled that game out.
Well, it was a game that Indiana controlled throughout the day, and you know, to work 38 minutes as hard as they did to get in a position to win a big road game, and then to give it away in 2 minutes. That's the only thing that I'd be concentrating on if I was an Indiana player tonight, and I would definitely be talking about payback.
And the good news for Indiana, John Blair Bickerstaff and Mike Bauer, who had big games, 29 points combined against Indiana back on January 20th. They are both injured and will not play in today's ball game. So Minnesota losing a few numbers, and they come here to try to get that victory again. Now, what does that mean, Coach, to you, with two of their best players out of the lineup?
Well, I think Coach Munson has done a great job of making the adjustments along the way. Both of these players that he lost, Bickerstaff was a senior, he's a captain, a veteran. The other kid, Bauer, had really hurt us with a long shot in the first game, and for him to be able to make the adjustments kind of on the fly with those injuries, he's done a great job of putting it together.
All right, tonight's IU trivia question is brought to you by Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse. Lowe's, improving home improvement. What IU great shot a free throw to defeat Kansas and win the NCAA championship? We'll have the answer when we come back.
Boom, baby.
It's nice to see him succeed.
He's patient, he's honest, and he seems to always have time for others.
He's a good guy to work with. I have a great deal of respect for him.
ITT Technical Institute, education for the future. To find out more, call 1-800-ITT-TECH or visit us on the web. Take advantage of our programs in information technology. A more flexible schedule to reach your goals. Call 1-800-ITT-TECH today.
This man got his auto insurance over the web and his homeowner's insurance through an 800 number. Now what? Introducing the Good Hands Network, only from Allstate, where you always get an agent, no matter how you come to us, through allstate.com, 1-800-ALLSTATE, or your local agent. It's the best way yet to put you in good hands.
Now, every time you visit Speedway, we've made shopping with us a whole lot more rewarding. Because now you could win $1 million, $10,000 cash, or free gasoline for a year. Just pick up your free Be a Millionaire game booklet or game piece with secret code number every time you visit. Collect and save all your code numbers and match to new winning numbers posted in-store every week. The Be a Millionaire giveaway, only at Speedway. We're on your way, the convenience stores of Speedway. Now save on Hostess cupcakes and Twinkies, just 69 cents.
All right, our Lowe's trivia question. What IU great shot free throws to defeat Kansas? Now, I will say it was 1 out of 2, but to win the NCAA championship, Kitch, who could that have been?
Anybody that knows basketball in the state of Indiana and follows either college or professional basketball, you only need to say one thing: boom, baby.
Boom, baby.
Boom, baby.
It is Bobby Slick. March 19th, 1953 in Kansas City. Here it is against Kansas. He hits a free throw with 27 seconds to go. And Kansas tries to come down and score. They don't. The game ends, and Indiana has won the national championship in 1953. Wouldn't it be great if Slick was here with us today? He is with us today! I tell you, he hasn't missed a Pacer game in 16 years. They're playing tonight in Indianapolis, but he is here. Slick, great to have you with us and have you here in Assembly Hall.
Hey, Johnny, you guys are great. I'm telling you, old Teddy's here. Look at this, huh? Isn't this fun?
There's a great former player at IU, a great coach in the ABA with some world championships, and now in the broadcasting business. Like, what don't you do in basketball?
Hey, it's like stealing, boy. I've hung around a long time, haven't I?
Well, it's great to have you here. This is the all-century team that Indiana's introducing today. 15 top players of the last 100 years of Indiana basketball, and Slick, it's great to have you with us. What can you tell us about that 53 team? What do you remember most?
Well, I really think that it was one of the legitimate teams, maybe out of 2 or 3 teams that came through IU that I can remember, that had a chance to win back-to-back NCAA championships. And that's the biggest disappointment, Johnny. That's the biggest, that we didn't win that thing in '54. That still sticks right here with me.
So you had a big group coming back, but it wasn't meant to be.
All of them. Wasn't meant to be.
Talk about the style of play and the game that was played back in those days.
Well, with Branch McCracken, it was a simple game. Rebounding defense, played full court pressure, big time fast break. Worked hours and hours and hours on that, and a very simple offense. That's why they called them the Hurryin' Hoosiers.
Now tell me, was the jump shot invented yet, or were you still doing set shots?
No, I had that medium jumper. But I shot 25, 30 feet out on the floor. I shot two-handed set.
Yeah. Two-handed set. That was a shot of the day, though.
That's right.
And you could hit it, huh?
Oh, I could knock a few of them down.
You've probably seen Kitch play in his day. What do you think of old farm boy?
I love Kitch.
Huh?
Kitch and I are buddies. Hey, I'll tell you one thing, though. He was from up there in Cass County, up there by Purdue, see?
Yeah.
And that's our next game after this game, Minnesota tonight. Here's the one I remember. The last time I ever played against Purdue, final score, Indiana 113, Purdue 78.
Oh, that's a good one to remember.
So it was all these 48 years ago when you started the rivalry that Indiana players really want to compete against Purdue.
Oh, big time. Big time. That's life and death. That's your whole season. Never did lose to Purdue while I was at Indiana. Never did.
All right, one of the other guys who can't be with us tonight is Isaiah Thomas, the coach of the Indiana Pacers and former teammate of yours. And you got a little something on him, huh?
Yeah, we had a chance to talk to Isaiah. Obviously, he would have loved to have been here. His mother is here to represent him, but obviously the Pacers are playing tonight, so here's Isaiah Thomas.
It's a great honor. I mean, it's a tremendous honor. And I read a quote, that Quinn had in the newspaper where he said it's very humbling, and it is. There's such a great tradition. There have been so many great players, and they could have picked, anybody, and no one would have had an argument because the players have been so good there, and the tradition has been so great. So I'm glad, I'm honored, and I'm humbled.
Isaiah Thomas, of course, led Indiana to the 1981 National Championship in Philadelphia and then left for a pro career, outstanding career in Detroit, and now the coach of the Indiana Pacers. And Slick, let's talk about one of your teammates, Don Schlund, one of the first big men that could really play. We lost him a few years ago, but talk about Don Schlund.
Well, Don Schlund's daughter's here tonight. One of the great shooters, Johnny, one of the great shooters that ever played the game. Did not go into pro ball, but I'll tell you one thing. We used to play against Johnny Kerr, that does games for Bulls. Now, Johnny played 16 years. Don used to get 25, 30 off of him all the time. Could have been a great NBA player. Decided to make some money and stay out of the game because you didn't make any back in those. This guy was a great shooter.
Now, he was big, too, for his day.
6'10", and when he came in, freshmen could play. That was the first year freshmen could play. So Don got in 4 years, and hey, you go back to the great games he played, NCAA tournament, 41 against Notre Dame at Chicago Stadium. I mean, he could do it. He could do it.
Well, Slick, thanks for being with us. Look forward to hearing you after the game, the ceremony, and post-game. There's no seniors on senior night, so it's you guys to getting the awards for the All-Century team. Congratulations. Look forward to your comments after the ball game.
I'm picking Indiana tonight between 20 and 30, so it's going to make it easy for you.
All good.
All right, a living legend, Bobby Slick
right.
Leonard from the 1953 national champs. When we come back, we'll have the answers to some of your internet questions.
WB4 is the place to be for late night laughs.
What sorcerer's magic is this?
Get your last laughs from some comedy classics.
We're the crazy generation.
So settle back for a comedy nightcap.
Beer and tang, Bundy mimosas.
Frasier, Nash, and Married with Children. Tonight, beginning at 11 on WB4.
Factory direct sale
at Watson's.
7-foot spa, only $24.99. Deluxe cow spa, $49.99. Canning bed, $17.99. Even $8.88.
Factory direct.
That's Watson's.
And now for something genuinely different from Dodge. It's the truck that redefined what a full-size pickup should be. Dodge Ram. 1 million have switched to Dodge trucks. And with finance savings of up to nearly $3,400 or up to $2,000 cash allowance, different may actually be even better. Dodge Ram. Different.
What's better than 40 to 50% mattress savings? How about instant rebates? Right now, save up to $50 extra when you buy select models of American Signature and Simmons Beauty Rest mattress sets at Value City Furniture. Plus, get free delivery, free bed frame, free setup, and free removal of your old mattress. And right now, take home one of these great bunk beds for just $199. Huge savings on bunk beds and instant mattress rebates. Only at Value City Furniture. You just can't do any better.
You just won millions of dollars!
I did?
No, because you didn't play Powerball. Why not?
Because the jackpot wasn't big enough.
So you're saying you have like $10 million just laying around. Mind if I take a look? This is a very nice home. Let's see. Popcorn, teeth. Oh, hey, there's a dime. That's something.
It's not millions of dollars.
Ooh, stale bread.
Where else but McDonald's can you get 2 favorites for only $1? A tasty cheeseburger and small fries, get both for $1. This Wednesday only at your neighborhood McDonald's.
Looking for a great used car under $10,000? How about a brand new fuel-efficient Daewoo Lanos for $89.99 or $135 per month? Like what you're hearing? See Racecom and Daewoo now.
Bizarre Springer stories.
You will never control me again.
On the next Jerry Springer.
Thursday night at 5 on WB4.
Now it's time to get you caught up on all the sports action at Indiana University. Tonight's IU Spotlight is brought to you by Marsh. We value you. And tomorrow night, the Lady Hoosiers take on the Minnesota Golden Gophers up in Grand Rapids, the first game of the Big Ten tournament. It'll be a 6 o'clock tip for the Lady Hoosiers. If they win that ball game, they play Friday against the Iowa Hawkeyes. Baseball, IU takes on Illinois Chicago. A Friday game at 3 o'clock and Saturday noon right here at Zembauer Field in Bloomington. Men's tennis, they take on Memphis State Saturday indoors at the IU Tennis Center. And for men's swimming, the Indiana Open is this Saturday, 4 p.m. at the Student Rec Center. Now let's take a look at tonight's internet questions brought to you by Union Federal Bank, Indiana owned and Indiana operated. Our first question tonight comes from R. Dunlevy. When a three-point shot is attempted and a foul occurs after the ball has left the shooter's hand, why is it a shooting foul?
Well, I think more than anything, they feel like it's a continuation until the player comes down. Usually the player that gets fouled is in the air and a guy will be jumping at him, he bumps into him or whatever. Even though the ball has already been released, they feel like until his feet come down and hit the ground that he's still in that continuation of shooting. So they're going to give him the 3 foul shots rather than just letting the other team take or letting them take it out of bounds.
I mean, otherwise you're talking about a 1-and-1 or 2 free throws. You're talking about a 5-point play.
Yeah,
so I think that's another reason to try to stop that. All right, our next question comes from Jimmy Ferguson, and he writes, during each practice, how long does Coach Davis work on free throws?
Well, I'm sure early in the year he didn't work near as long as he has been as the year has progressed, but I think you have to look at that as a positive. I think the team has gotten better. They've started shooting better throughout the Big Ten. It's, you know, it hasn't went from 57% to 75, but I mean 57 to 64. You know, in the Wisconsin game they didn't miss any. They didn't take 35 or 40 free throws, but it's a very good shooting team. So I don't think you want to stay on it too much if you're Coach Davis. Hey, you're good shooters. Get in the right frame of mind. Go up there and knock the shots in like you can.
And he does work on several drills during practice to create pressure on the guys without a game and crowd atmosphere. That seems his work. India has made 11 of their last 14 free throws in the last 2 ball games. All right, our next question comes from Jerry Speed. He wants to know, why does Coach Davis allow Jeffries and Haston to play in the backcourt? They can't get many rebounds from there.
Well, one reason you allow Haston to play out there is he's one of the best shooters on the team. It really pulls the defense away from the basket. It gives more room for Jeffries to post up, Newton to work inside, things like that. So wherever you take Haston on the floor, the defense is going to follow him. At least one guy, and usually 2, leaning towards him. Also, Jeffries can be out on the floor because Jeffries, over a zone, is able to look up and over people and make the passes, and even against man-to-man. While people are making cuts inside, if you got a real small guy such as Coverdale trying to pass over a big guy, makes it difficult. Jeffries can look over anybody. He's a very good passer. He and Jeff Newton both excellent passers, and that's why they're out on the floor making those plays.
All right, a lot of excitement at Assembly Hall with the All-Century team here. Don't go away. When we come back, Coach Mike Davis joins us next with tonight's Scouting Report.
At Marsh, we're known for freshness and great value. But do you know what we're most proud of? We're proud to be part of what makes this community great. If it's good for families, Marsh is there.
Bert wants Allison. Kelly wants Berg. But her brother...
Have some respect, man.
...doesn't want any of it.
Hey, grabby hands, step away from the sister.
I kissed him too.
Now...
Shouldn't be playing with that, Allison.
My name is Kelly.
Love will strike. Whether you're ready or not. Kirsten Dunst, Ben Foster, Cisco. Get over it.
We have an 18-year-old male with a puncture wound to his left buttock.
Rated PG-13. In theaters Friday, March 9th.
Hungry for some white, flaky fish? How about delicious, crunchy shrimp? Come in now for the Fish 21-piece crunchy shrimp and more meal. The perfect combination of everything you love about Long John Silver's. You get our famous fish, 21 crunchy shrimp, piping hot hush puppies, crispy fries, and slaw for just $3.99. It's the taste and the deal you can only find at Long John Silver's. The only place to go for that one-of-a-kind taste, Long John Silver's.
And now for something genuinely different from Dodge. It's the truck that redefined what a full-size pickup should be, Dodge Ram. 1 million have switched to Dodge trucks. And with finance savings of up to nearly $3,400 or up to $2,000 cash allowance, different may actually be even better. Dodge Ram. Different.
Stay tuned to WB4 after the game on IU Wrap-Up. We'll take you the 100 years of Indiana basketball celebration, and we'll hear from some of the all-century team. You won't want to miss it. Tonight's Scouting Report with Mike Davis is brought to you by ATA. On ATA, you're on vacation. I talked to Coach Davis earlier about the first game the Hoosiers played against Minnesota.
Last time the pressure of the game hurt us more than the press. We was up 13 points with 3 minutes to go in the game, and I thought we played not to lose instead of going out and attacking them. Instead of being up 13, going up 20. But we was on the road, and the crowd was really good there. And Coach Munson did a really good job of using timeouts and keeping the press on us.
They've had some injuries. Bickerstaff is gone. Bauer is gone. They had 29 points combined in that ball game. How does that change what you might try to do?
Right now, they're shooting a three-point shot well. They're attempting maybe 20 to 25 per game. I think they're better now because of the matchups. They're playing a lot of guards. So they try to drive and shoot threes. And so we'll have a hard time matching up with them. But I think we can win the basketball game. It's going to take really good concentration, patience, and just effort.
Now you'll have a little size advantage on them as well because of the loss of those two players. You try to work that inside for your benefit?
I think so. We try to play inside out, go inside, make them collapse, and try to hit Hornsby, Coverdale, and fight for three-point shots.
Now, defensively, your team has played very well. Field goal percentage defense is excellent. You've been holding teams down. That's still really the key to you winning the ball game.
It is, but last time they really hurt us because they set a lot of back screens, and we didn't step out in the back screen. We didn't jump to the basketball when the ball was reversed. They got open three-point shots, and they got layups. And so we really have to watch the back screens tonight and really be active defensively. This is a very important game for us. We can win this basketball game here, give us 9 wins in the conference, and 9 wins is a great season for us.
You talked about the Minnesota three-point shooting, but your team in the last 2 ball games has been terrific. 21 of 30 from three-point land. Is that something you hope to do again today?
Well, hopefully we can keep that pace up, but that's asking too much, I think. We was 9 for 18 and 14 for 19. That's great shooting, and hopefully our guys can continue to at least shoot 40%. I think 40-45% is great from three-point line. But
the point being that you can't rely just on your inside guys to do all the scoring. The guards have got to score, whether it's 3 points or inside the line. They've got to help the scoring.
Well, that's been the point of emphasis all year. Get the ball inside, the double team, kick it outside, and guard be ready to shoot the basketball. The last couple of games, our guards have been ready to shoot the basketball.
This is a type of game Coach Munson in Gonzaga, of course, ran up and down the floor. Do you expect a fast, up-tempo game today?
I think so. After watching them play Minnesota, they jumped out to a 26-9 lead, and that's scary. We don't want to get behind like that, so hopefully come out and guard them and get into them on the three-point shots and force them to be a two-point team.
Well, this is senior night, last home game, but you have no seniors, so at least you have something to look forward to next year when you might have some seniors here, huh?
Hopefully. It would be a great night for everyone. I'm excited about the night. I'm a little nervous about the night also. It's the first time I felt this way since the first game, so I'm anxious and excited. I want to win the game awfully bad.
Each Sunday morning, 11:30 a.m. on WB4, you can get the inside scoop on Hoosier basketball with Mike Davis. See the highlights, hear from the players, and get the coach's perspective right here on WB4 Sports. Indiana and Minnesota. Indiana trying to show some revenge on that first ball game. They should have won that one. But how do you see the game shaping up, Ted?
Well, I think it's a tough game for Indiana to get up for. So hopefully the coaching staff and the kids really mentally have prepared well, because it's easy to get up to play Wisconsin. They're a rated team. You know what they're bringing in. They're tough. Minnesota, this is a team, they've lost some of their key players, and don't think that Coach Munson doesn't look forward to being the underdog. He's the one that put Gonzaga a couple years ago on the map before coming to Minnesota. He likes that. He likes being in that role, and he'll be talking to his kids about it. Expect his kids to come out, play well. They'll hit some threes early. Indiana's got to continue to pound the ball inside and take advantage of their big size advantage inside.
And we mentioned the special ceremony after the ball game. It's the all-century team that will be introduced. The top 15 players in the last 100 years of Indiana basketball. Here's a look at them alphabetically. In fact, you played with some of those, and I've covered a lot of those guys. Big Walt Bellamy is here today, all the way from Atlanta. 33 rebounds in one ball game for Walt Bellamy. Kent Benson just stopped by to say hello. Quinn Buckner is up in Indianapolis doing the Pacer game. Can't be with us. Mr. and Mrs. Henderson are here. Alan, of course, playing with Atlanta. And Slick Leonard, we just heard from him. Isaiah Thomas, his mom, is here. Jimmy Rail is here. Too bad they didn't have a three-point shot when Jim Rail played the ball game.
Because he shot him from way out there.
He shot him from four-point range. All right, that's it for IU warm-up. Stay with us. Exciting game. We'll catch you on the wrap-up show.
IU warm-up has been brought to you by Marsh. We value you.
Catch the Marsh IU warm-up show Saturday before the game on WB4.
Where else but McDonald's can you get two favorites for only $1? A tasty cheeseburger and small fries, get both for $1. This Wednesday only at your neighborhood McDonald's.
Integrity, innovation, accountability, and community commitment. That's how Touchstone Energy Cooperatives bring customers, large and small, quality state-of-the-art technology at affordable rates. Touchstone Energy Cooperatives already serve millions of businesses and homes all across America. We're Indiana's electric cooperatives, your Touchstone Energy partners, bringing you the power of human connections.
The Rocket Club, the AV Club, the Science Club, the Home Ec Club. For all good students, there's the Allstate Good Student Discount. It could save you 15% on car insurance. To see if your student qualifies, contact the Good Hands Network at allstate.com, 1-800-ALLSTATE, or your local agent. Start saving today.
Luxury is a weekend carving through fresh powder before you get to the slopes. The all-season 2001 Lincoln LS with Advanced Track. It knows exactly what to do when the road gets slippery to help you stay right on course. Starting at $33,335 exclusively at your Lincoln dealer. LS from Lincoln. American luxury.
The bagel, the hanging garden, the checkerboard. While some create a new pizza every month, Papa John's would rather make the same pizza right, using quality ingredients. Maybe that's why we've been voted #1 4 years in a row. After all, why keep reinventing the pizza if you make it right the first time?
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Get a large pizza with any 5 toppings for just $10.99. Papa John's, the original pizza you dip.
Martin's got a secret, and it could mean matrimony.
Because I'd love another corn dog, Ma.
On Frasier.
Wednesday night at 11 on WB4.
Indiana University Basketball on WB4 is brought to you by your Central Indiana Dodge dealers. Papa John's Pizza. Better ingredients, better pizza. By your Central Indiana Ford store. And by Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers.
Tonight in Bloomington, Indiana will look to avenge last month's overtime loss at Minnesota. For the fourth time in as many years, the Golden Gophers defeated the Hoosiers in Minnesota. But it was the way they lost that stung the Hoosiers most. Indiana led by 5 at the break and by 13 with just over 3 minutes to play. But the Gophers turned up the pressure, and the pressure led to turnovers. And the turnovers led to points. And Minnesota emerged with a victory in overtime. Indiana's thinking payback tonight. Welcome to a jam-packed Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Indiana. It's the Hoosiers' home finale as they host the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. Indiana is locked into a 4th place right now in the Big Ten as we check out the standings. They're hoping for at least one more victory to lock up an NCAA berth, while the Gophers are holding out hope as well. Hello, everybody. Alongside John Laskowski, I'm Craig Kashan. And the Gophers, Laz, really a whole new animal since the last time Indiana saw them. That's because of the injury bug. John Blair Bickerstaff and Michael Mauer out for the season. And those guys played significant roles in that big comeback victory over against the Hoosiers.
It was a big game for Minnesota. They got 29 points between them, and they will not have that in today's lineup.
Well, believe it or not, IU woke up Sunday morning after a dream game against Wisconsin and found they did indeed almost play perfect.
70% shooting from three-point land, and a stubborn defensive team, Wisconsin. They scored 85 points against a very good defensive team. Jared Jeffries 8 for 8 from the field.
An unforgettable performance by the Hoosiers. Well, Jared Jeffries was perfect against the Badgers. Didn't miss a shot he took from anywhere. We'll see if he can keep up that magic tonight. Starting lineups are on the way. Minnesota and Indiana coming up next.
Saturday night beginning at 7:30, the biggest rivalry in the state of Indiana returns to WB4 Sports when the Hoosiers head to West Lafayette to battle their arch rivals Purdue. Both teams are fighting for bragging rights and for their chance to make the NCAA tournament. The rivalry is back and better than ever. IU takes on Purdue Saturday night beginning at 7:30 on WB4 Sports.
A demonic stalker invades her mind.
You are crazy right now.
Charmed.
Thursday night at 9 on WB4.
Time goes slow, life goes fast, and as you watch the moment pass, and suddenly when you're old enough to see, it's a union of people, you and me. Union Federal, all your banks should be.
Rally, you gotta eat. What are you doing? You gotta eat.
You gotta eat a Rally's Big Chicken Sandwich. Now just 99 cents. It's big. It's all white meat seasoned just right. Served hot and fresh with crisp lettuce and mayo. Rally's Big Chicken Sandwich. Now just 99 cents. And play the Rally's Hot Food Cool Car Sweepstakes. You could drive away winning 2 T-Birds, a cool vacation, or other great prizes.
You gotta eat.
These are the final days of your Indiana Ford Store's inventory tax clearance, because nobody likes to pay taxes.
I know we're running out of time, but I've still got more deductions. Interest on my house, spousal deduction. Be right back.
Hurry, inventory tax clearance ends February 28th. Get financing as low as 0.9 or cash up to $1,500.
We're back at Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Indiana. It's the Gophers and the Hoosiers in Big Ten play as we wind down the season. Dan Munson, the head coach for the Gophers, a former football player at Idaho, thinks a 21 season will get his team into the NCAAs. They need 3 more wins to accomplish that. Tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by Sagamore Health Network, caring, compassionate, and cost-effective for Minnesota. Schilling, Burleson, Simmons, Reichert, and Bennett. Terrence Simmons, the only player to start every game, and he's shooting 47% on the road compared to 39 at home. For the Indiana Hoosiers, familiar look, Fife, Coverdale, Hornsby, Jeffries, and Hasted. And for Tom Coverdale, he's hit 8 of his last 9 3-pointers, including 3 against the Wisconsin Badgers in that big victory on Saturday. Mike Davis needs one more win, and it'll be 18, the most by any first-year IU coach in history. We'll see if he gets it coming up next.
Hi, honey. How about going out for a nice romantic dinner? No kids, just you and me. In Florida.
It's ATA's 2-to-go sale. Now you can bring a companion along from only $69. Just buy a ticket at ATA's selected off-peak fare to most ATA destinations, and your companion flies along on the same flight from only $69. Just buy your tickets by March 12, 2001. Call your travel agent or 1-800-I-FLY-ATA.
At Marsh, we're known for freshness and great value. But do you know what we're most proud of? We're proud to be part of what makes this community great. If it's good for families, Marsh is there.
Turtle Wax, Grizzly Grill Guards, Rancho Shocks, gas cans. Advance Auto Parts carries more parts than any other store, including one you won't find anywhere else.
We need some help. We need a lot of help.
Advance Auto Parts. The best part is our people.
Assembly Hall in Bloomington, site of tonight's game between Indiana and Minnesota. Let's check out tonight's fueling factors brought to you by Fastmax Convenience Stores and Sunoco.
For Minnesota, it's going to be rebounding. They only have 2 players 6'7" or taller, and Indiana has the decided advantage there. And three-point shooting. They love the up-tempo game. They need to make those shots from the outside. For Indiana, it's guard scoring. Indiana was 21 of 30 from three-point land in their last 2 ball games. They don't necessarily have to make up the three-point range. They need to score to balance the offense and defensive pressure. They need a hand in the face when the Gophers are taking that shot.
Well, the Indiana Hoosiers certainly lit up the scoreboard on Saturday against Wisconsin, scoring 85. As we take a look at the series history, the 140th meeting between these two schools. IU leads overall and holds a big advantage here in Bloomington, but the last meeting, the big one on the minds of Mike Davis's club. Minnesota comes from behind, down 13 in the final 3 minutes to force overtime, and a big victory at that point. However, the Golden Gophers have struggled since then because of the injuries, losing 7 of their next 9 games. And this man, Mike Davis, hopes this is not his final game at Assembly Hall either, last.
And since that time, Indiana's won 6 of their 9 ball games, so it really was a turning point. They knew they should have won that ball game, but have since come back very strong and playing their best basketball of the year right now.
No question about that. And how about the performance on Saturday for this IU club, Laz? Would anyone have ever expected something that near perfect?
You're thinking of a game in the 40s or 50s when you play Wisconsin. They're only giving up 56 points a ball game, leading the Big Ten. And Indiana comes out with 85, most points they've given up in a long time. And it was a three-point shooting that did it. The confidence of the guards for Indiana is terrific. And then matched with the size advantage for Indiana, it's going to be tough for Minnesota tonight.
For Minnesota, this is Ray Christensen calling his final game for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. His 45th season of calling Gopher sports, and he was honored by the IU Athletic Department before this game. What an honor and what a career, what a legend.
He bet he's seen some wonderful ball games over his time.
There's a man who can say I've seen it all in Big Ten play. There's no doubt about that. All right, we're just about ready to tip this one off. Minnesota coming in at 5-9 in conference play. The Hoosiers 8-6 and alone in 4th place because they might have set Wisconsin a little tailspin here at the end of the season. The Badgers lost again last night against Michigan State in their final home game. The 5 seniors. And we are underway here. Indiana will start out with the basketball. That's Tom Coverdale. Over to Dane Fife. Minnesota's going to be forced to play some zone tonight, aren't they?
They start right in the zone, 2-3. They got Coverdale in the corner, but he got out of it. Easton trying to post up on the block. Good defense by Minnesota.
Shot clock under 10. Jeffries off balance, hits the shot off the glass, and the Hoosiers are on the board first.
He's done a better job in the last few games of finishing. He's able to drive and get to the basket, but he's missed that shot, and this time converts on the first one.
Schilling gives it up to Simmons. There's Reichert. Back over to Bennett. He takes the first shot, won't go for Minnesota. Indiana the rebound. Jared Jeffries up 2-0 early. And we're going to foul to wipe out that shot before the shot was actually taken, before the collision.
It's a little flare screen for Kyle Hornsby, great three-point shooter for Indiana. Fife got knocked over, so out of bounds to the Hoosiers. Let's watch the left of your screen there. And there's the foul on Simmons.
That's the game's first foul. Simmons has really been a huge offensive producer for Minnesota, especially since the injuries. Kind of taking over Big Ten play, but over on the other side, hitting the three is Coverdale. And how hot is this guy from outside the arc?
Boy, he had 24 points against Wisconsin. He's just exactly the same shots he made on Saturday.
9 of his last 10 three-pointers overall. And Indiana the 5-0 lead.
There's the pressure defense I talked about for Indiana. That'll be a key to keep Minnesota's offense in check.
Plenty of time on the shot clock for the Gophers. Still looking for their first points in this game. Bennett has to kick it down low into the lane to Reichert.
Hey, good hands. That was a hard pass down low and not a lot of distance on that pass. Reichert got the ball and took it right in the same motion to the hoop for the layup.
So Minnesota gets on the board. Points in the paint. Jeffries kicks it back out. Coverdale down low. Fife off the window. Indiana off to a very good start.
Coverdale was open for that shot, the same one he made the previous trip, but knew that Fife could get a layup.
Burleson's shot won't go from outside the arc. Here comes Indiana on the run, already leading 7-2. Fife for three. Off the mark.
Fife had 12 points against Minnesota in that first game, so he likes playing against the Gophers. Misses that.
Simmons slashes through the lane, no one to pass to. Wasn't sure if he thought one of his teammates was there or not, but he catches a break, it goes out of bounds, and the Gophers will keep it underneath their own hoop. Burleson's battled through some injuries midway through the season. Turnover this time. Coverdale. Schilling gets the block. Here comes Simmons on the exchange. Quick three-pointer won't go. Haston the rebound.
That's the way Minnesota's going to play. When they get that open shot, they need to take it. They're a great three-point shooting team. 38% leading the Big Ten. They need to continue that shot to give themselves a chance in this ball.
Here's a steal by Burleson. Blocked by Jeffries. Ball still loose. Indiana comes out of there with it. Some good D on both ends of the court on fast break, and Haston gets it on the other end, and IU takes a 9-2 lead, and Dan Munson calls a quick timeout. 16:44 to go, and Mike Davis's club off to a terrific start.
Coverdale with the pass inside, the little jump hook by Kirk Haston. He's got the running hook, the full hook, and he's got the little jump hook on the baseline as well.
Kirk Haston had 17 points and 11 rebounds against the Gophers in game one.
This kind of start Mike Davis was looking for. He told me before the game he was a little nervous about this ball game, and it's nothing like a 9-2 lead to make the coach relax a little bit.
Just a little bit there.
Just a little bit. Don't ever relax too much.
That's right. Schilling for three won't go. Bennett gets another chance for the Gophers. Kicks it to Reichert on the baseline, and still Minnesota with just the one field goal in the game.
Well, Minnesota's getting good shots. They're not getting them to drop right now.
Coverdale fouled on the way in. He muscled his way in the lane, thought about kicking it back out, but draws the foul on the shot, so he goes to the free throw line for 2. Those are the numbers against the Gophers in game 1, 12 points and 5 assists. He is averaging just under 5 assists a ball game. That ranks 3rd in the Big Ten. Hits the free throws. Indiana up now 11-2.
He's really a shooting guard, playing out of position at the point guard, but has learned that position as the years gone by.
Fleming slips. Gets it off to Riker. Fleming from downtown. Still won't go. Riker gets the rebound, but steps on the baseline. So it's going to be Indiana basketball, but not before we take a timeout. Hoosiers are up 11-2. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+.
Something extraordinary is coming to Amoco. It will change your gasoline buying experience, but it won't change your gasoline. You'll still be able to buy the same Amoco gasoline you've always bought. But the environment in which you buy it will be brighter, smarter, more inviting than ever before. And the best part is, this is just the beginning. BP, going beyond.
Pretty woman, walking down the street, pretty woman, a candle on her feet. She's got a ticket to ride. She's got a ticket to ride, and it's in my hair. Sugar-fat honey butts, you know that I love you. Yeah, I love you, girl.
These are the final days of your Indiana Ford Store's inventory tax clearance, because nobody likes to pay taxes.
I know we're running out of time, but I've still got more deductions. Interest on my house, spousal deduction. Be right back.
Hurry, inventory tax clearance ends February 28th. Get financing as low as 0.9 or cash up to $1,500.
Indiana off to an 11-2 start against Minnesota, and Tom Coverdale decides to pass one up.
Against the zone, you're trying to get 2-on-1 situation, 2 offensive players for Indiana and 1 defensive player, and Coverdale decides to pass it inside once the defense comes out to guard it. Let's watch. It's 2-on-1. Indiana sees it. Coverdale just made this shot before, but as the defense comes out, he finds Fife open for the layup.
That play on the Telestrator brought to you by AutoZone. The right part, the right price, and good advice. (11-2) Hoosiers. They have the basketball, looking to increase the lead. Minnesota only 1 of 8 from the floor to start this one out. They get the rebound, looking for some points on this trip down.
Good rebound by Fleming, only 6'3", but he went high there. He got his career high against Indiana that first game, 15.
There's a look at the shooting so far in the game.
Fife is Indiana's best defensive player. He's on Simmons right now.
Shot clock under 10 for Minnesota. Now to 5. Simmons has to make a move. Has to throw one up. Jeffries right in his face. Good defense by Indiana. Minnesota really nowhere to go. Under 15 to go here in the first half.
He'll change up on the zone here. Now it's down to 2-3 again.
Nice cut from Fife, taking the feed from Haston. He's fouled on the way in.
Indiana will get that ball in there at the post. Lots of things you can do. That turning shot by Haston. That time a cut by Fife. And the pass was there. Let's watch now. Here this guy's back to the basket, sees what's going on. Fife would have had the reverse layup there, although it would have been contested. And he goes to the line for 2 shots.
Fife gets the first free throw.
He
Some pretty good numbers last against Minnesota.
He played well. His best game is defense, but Indiana needs him for offense as well. He's shied away from that over the course of this season.
He and Mike Kelly of Wisconsin kind of remind me of one another with the good defense and the offense. When it's there, boy, you sure take it as a bonus. Exactly.
Good move that time by Riker. Got it easy pass to Bennett.
He's fouled on the way in. Jared Jeffries picks up the foul. That's his first.
There's the pass over to Bennett. Reichert had 21 points and 16 rebounds in that first game against Indiana. So Indiana's really keying on him as the inside player to stop and put Jared Jeffries on him, trying to force some of the other Minnesota players to score.
Well, the Gophers are down to 7 healthy scholarship players on the roster right now. And they've been playing Ryan Wildenborg, who is a walk-on. He'll get some minutes. Not too many options left, and you only start the season with 9 scholarship players. Lost out of bounds. The Hoosiers will get it back. And a fresh clock.
Good shot by Jeffries. Just didn't drop. Haston keeps it alive.
13-4. Indiana on top here in the first half. Hornsby almost lost it. Now Fife gets it down low to Jeffries. Hornsby cuts in off the window.
Same play. This time it's Jeffries who finds Hornsby. Good defense by Minnesota. They're recovering very quick. Indiana had a couple shots, but they got shut down by the quickness of Minnesota.
11-point lead for Indiana. And a foul on the Hoosiers. This is on Kyle Hornsby.
Jeffries had dribbled out and saw Hornsby cutting in. He hits the little bank shot in the lane.
And I mentioned Ryan Wildenborg a moment ago. He checks into the game. Bennett gets a breather.
6'11", 260 is the sophomore Wildenborg, so he sure brings some stature into the ball game with Haston. 5-second call. Minnesota failed to get it in bounds.
Wildenborg not the walk-on. I correct myself. Jeff Hagan. We'll see Jeff Hagan, I'm sure, as well.
Here's the half-court trap. This really bothered Indiana in the first game. Fife nearly travels there. Dan Munson off the bench.
Haston hits his first field goal. (17-4).
Good fake that time by Fleming. Looked like he was going to pass out, and then took it all the way to the hoop to draw the foul.
Well, this is the final home game for Indiana. Normally you'd say it's senior night, but with no seniors on the roster, there will still be some celebration here as the program celebrates 100 years of Indiana Hoosier basketball. And the 15 players nominated, many of whom are here today for a postgame ceremony.
36 All-Americans over the course of that time, and the fans around Indiana voted for the top 15, and 8 of them are here, some still in the NBA, some still coaching. But a nice ceremony at the end of the ball game will honor them.
And we should talk with Kelbert Cheney and Kent Benson during the second half, so we'll look forward to that. 17-6 Indiana. Haston hits again.
The old-fashioned hook shot. It's tough from that baseline, too. You don't have a lot to look at except the rim. Haston made it look easy.
He's got 6 now in the first half. Lead back to 13. Fleming nowhere to go with Hornsby in his way. Burleson pulls up for 3 and hits, and finally the Gophers get a 3-pointer to fall.
Quick release that time by Kevin Burleson. Only getting about 6 points a ball game, but that shot tough to stop with a quick release.
Ball loose. Burleson comes out of there with it. Simmons drives, kicks it back out, and Burleson took steps before he went in. 19-9 with 12:01 to go. It's going to be Indiana basketball. Dan Munson pleading his case.
He's been off the bench quite a bit. Things not going well for the Gophers here early.
And a foul on Terrence Simmons. On the ball, but away from the basket. And that's number 2 on Simmons. Timeout on the floor. Indiana a 10-point advantage over Minnesota.
You know, we could have blown an enormous budget building big, elaborate sets for our Prairie Farms ice cream commercials. But instead, we decided to put our money where your mouth is. Taste the homemade goodness of Prairie Farms. You know, we could have dropped a bundle of bucks on a big Hollywood director for our Prairie Farms ice cream commercials. But instead, we decided to put our money where your mouth is. Quality you can taste from Prairie Farms.
Healthcare choices can appear complex. Often it's hard to make a decision, especially when you're offered so many choices. Healthcare is a very important decision, and it's your decision. We're Sagamore Health Network. We offer you straightforward healthcare choices, and over 750,000 people already know we're serving their needs. Caring, compassionate, cost-effective. It's our mission. It's what your health plan should be.
Time goes slow, life goes fast, and as you watch the moment pass, suddenly when you're old enough to see it's a union of people, you and me. Union Federal, all your banks should be.
Back at Assembly Hall, Indiana 19-9 over Minnesota. And Laz, of course, every team wants to get off to a fast start, but Indiana's been the team tonight.
Well, the first 10 possessions for the Gophers, they only scored twice. They missed 6 shots, and they had 2 turnovers. Conversely, for Indiana, they must be doing something good to have that big lead. They've scored 6 times, only missed 3 shots and 1 turnover.
Thus the 10-point lead. And they have the basketball again.
Minnesota now man-to-man defense after that timeout.
Coverdale works against Burleson. Shot blocked. Haston gets the loose change and puts it off the window.
Indiana's gotten 3 of their big guys in there, all about 6'10", Jeffries, Newton, and Haston, and gives them a big rebounding advantage.
8 already for Kirk Haston, who's number 1 in the Big Ten in scoring at 20 points a game in conference play. Riker got the backdoor cut, can't convert. Indiana comes out of there with it. Coverdale brings it up, loops it ahead to Fife. Coverdale drives, kicks it in the corner. 3-pointer on the way for Haston, won't go. Dusty Reichert the rebound.
He's shooting well, 44% from 3-point range this year, but he's missed the first 2 he's taken from the outside.
What a story he is outside the arc.
Won the Michigan State game on a buzzer shot.
Shot won't go by Wildenborg. 21-9 Hoosiers keep that lead, trying to build on it, and another Gopher foul on the way in. And this one's going to be on Burleson.
Coverdale several times this ball game already has just put his head down, gone to the hoop, and has drawn some fouls. Let's take a look. He's got a good 3-point shot. You need to respect that. With the left hand now, he comes right through the lane and gets the shot and the foul.
Coverdale makes the free throw, gets his 6th point. Schilling and Bennett back in for the Gophers.
Big George Leach, 6'11", freshman for Indiana in the lineup.
May not be quite the pace that Indiana had against Wisconsin, but they're playing awfully well today.
And I think they knew it'd be an up-and-down game with Minnesota trying to take a lot of 3-point shots.
Schilling the miss. Minnesota having a tough time inside and outside right now.
It's not hitting those field goals, and that's going to hurt any team.
Coverdale from downtown. Long rebound to Dane Fife to keep it alive. No rush for the Hoosiers on the new shot clock. Jeffries looking to go down low, is fouled on the way in by Bennett. That's going to be 17 fouls now on the Gophers. We are at Assembly Hall in Bloomington for Big Ten basketball. It's Minnesota and Indiana. Along with John Laskowski, I'm Craig Kashan. Glad to have you with us this evening. Indiana on top on the scoreboard, 23-9. Midway through the first half. Another miss outside the arc by the Gophers. And another rebound for Indiana. Those misses haven't produced many second opportunities for Minnesota. Leach in trouble. Finds Fife down low. And Minnesota comes out of there with it. Simmons, the lean-in shot won't go. Ball loose. Jeffries comes out of there with 14 rebounds for the Hoosiers already. And Fife is fouled on the way in. And this one's going to go on Shane Schilling.
Indiana has been working the fast break well, as they are allowing just the one shot, and they get the ball right down the floor, and they go back to the line.
It's all about getting back, and Indiana has been able to get back and force Minnesota in that half-court offense, which they probably would not prefer at this point.
This Indiana defense allowing just under 40 points a game, or 40% field goal percentage in ball games. The best they've had in about 20 years here, and Indiana always known for its defense. This is one of the better defensive teams they've had.
Fife gets the first free throw. They continue to build that lead and stifle Minnesota's offense. 25-9. And Indiana already in the bonus with 17 fouls on Minnesota.
High double screen. This really hurt Indiana that first game. Minnesota did offensively.
And Bennett finally hits a three-pointer that breaks a 4-minute drought for the Gophers. Now they need a defensive stop and a couple of more conversions to. Haston from Leach won't go. Rebound for Bennett. Here comes Fleming. Finds a little opening, puts one up, and is fouled on the way in by Tom Coverdale. That's number 2 on Coverdale.
Better that time for Minnesota. Dan Munson looking on, looking for that call. But a nice drive to the hoop to draw the foul by Fleming.
Kerwin Fleming, a career-high 9 rebounds against Michigan a couple of weeks ago in that big road victory. Had a career-high 15 points against Indiana in Game 1. Gets a pair, and Minnesota within 11 at 25-14. Timeout on the floor. We're coming back to Assembly Hall in a moment.
Because of what they did for me, I can hold a hand, I can play a tune or swing a bat, because they understand. From my shoulder to my fingertips, I'm able to perform. So I'm leaving with my honey.
The Indiana Hand Center. We're more than just hands.
Got any books I might like?
What did you have in mind?
Homer's Odyssey in the original 5th century Greek.
Attic, Doric, or Ionic dialect.
How's that possible?
I have every edition of every book ever published in every language.
Could your business use the bandwidth to change everything? Ride the light. Quest.
These are the final days of your Indiana Ford Store's inventory tax clearance, because nobody likes to pay taxes.
I know we're running out of time, but I've still got more deductions. Interest on my house? Spousal deduction. Be right back.
Hurry, inventory tax clearance ends February 28th. Get financing as low as 0.9 or cash up to $1,500.
Back in Bloomington, Indiana, the Hoosiers lead Minnesota 25-14, just under 8 minutes to go here in the first half. It's been all Indiana so far in this one, and John Mellencamp certainly likes what he sees so far.
Regular attender to Indiana basketball games, and likes to see those Hoosiers play when he's in town.
You got to get him seats at midcourt, Les.
Indiana shooting well, 8 of 14, and 14 rebounds already, passing the ball well.
Haston kicks it back out. Jeffries down low to Fife. And traveling is called, so the turnover gives it back to Minnesota.
He's hesitated a little bit. He saw the open man in the corner, was going to go to him. Then he saw Fife right out of the basket, but took a step too many and got called for the travel. Here's the high double pick. Look at Hornsby, knowing that Fleming wants to go to the right.
And he's forced way out and then fouled by Jared Jeffries. That'll be his second in the game.
It's a tough play. You've got two offensive players setting the pick. So now you have two defensive players, not sure who's going to pick up. And then if you overplay like you did there, Fleming tries to go left. Now a big guy steps out and causes the foul. It's really given Indiana problems, not only this today, but in that last ball game.
Simmons in and out with the three-point attempt. Just not quite there yet this evening for Minnesota.
Minnesota back to the zone defense. They tried the man-to-man for a little bit.
Haston. Bennett the rebound.
Good position there by Bennett.
Simmons pushes it, pulls up at the free throw line. Off the back of the iron, battle for the rebound between Bennett and Jeffries. Jump ball cold, and on the possession arrow, it's going to go back to Minnesota.
That's the offense expect Minnesota to run today. Quickly down the floor, that's a good open shot. Bennett tries it, misses. Now they got a chance for the rebound. There's Bennett trying for the rebound, not on the shot. And now another quick shot. They just haven't been able to make the shot, but that's what they need to do to get in this ballgame.
3 of 19 from the field the Gophers are so far in this game.
Boy, Haston and Bennett really going at it on the weak side.
And that one is good by Jeffrey Newton. Minnesota with 6 free throws in this contest so far to keep within climbing distance, if you will. But they are down 27-14 on just the 3 field goals. And an Indiana foul. Going to give it to Hornsby, it looks like.
Good move by Fleming. He knows he's a little quicker than Hornsby. He's got that nice left-handed dribble going. Let's watch Haston inside with Bennett. Bennett trying to prevent the pass coming in. The arms get locked up. They move around. No call. Play goes on.
It's unusual. You wouldn't see that call this year. Schilling drives and gets one off the glass for the Gophers.
Schilling now up to 8 points a ball game. With the 2 injuries, he's gotten a lot more playing time. Done a very nice job. 6'6" and a sophomore.
Minnesota within 11. Haston baseline won't go. Picks up the loose ball.
Shot clock did not reset, as that shot did hit the rim. Now 8 to shoot.
A.J. Moye has to give it up. Shot clock down to 3. He's going to have to take the shot. A little bit short. Fleming the rebound for the Gophers. Well, they got their stop. Let's see what they can do with it. And Reichert painted himself into a corner and steps on the line. 5 turnovers now for Minnesota.
Let's watch Minnesota down the floor. Here's Shane Schilling. Nice drive. Sees Haston coming over. Puts a little more arc on that ball. Softly off the glass.
There's the turnover situation so far in the first half.
Not bad for either team. Indiana trying to put some pressure defense on. Minnesota's held it well. They just haven't shot the ball.
Each team, that's right. Each team gives it up about 14 times a game on turnovers. Fleming reverse. And that one won't go. Can hardly buy one here in Bloomington tonight.
Well, this game a long way from being over. Indiana's in a dry spell.
5 to Jeffrey Newton, and it's 29-16.
Minnesota just keeps chipping away. I mean, they were down big time in that first ball game. Used that press, used that double high pick offense, and they were able to get right back in a short amount of time.
Reichert finally hits a long 2.
Minnesota is off to a very poor start. They're only down 11. I mean, that sounds like a lot, but they can score quickly.
Well, before that make by Reichert, Minnesota hit 2 of 10 on their first 10 shots and 2 of 10 on their last. And an offensive foul. Another turnover going the other way. And we will get a timeout on the floor. Kerwin Fleming picks up his 3rd foul. Indiana leads 29-18.
You just won millions of dollars.
I did?
No, because you didn't play Powerball. Why not?
Because the jackpot wasn't big enough.
So you're saying you have like $10 million just laying around. Mind if I take a look? This is a very nice home. Let's see. Popcorn, teeth. Oh, hey, there's a dime. That's something.
It's not millions of dollars.
Ooh, stale bread.
There's a lot of reasons why so many people who take care of their cars turn to AutoZone each week. The low prices on the replacement parts they really need, and the large selection of the things they simply want. But most of all, they come to AutoZone because of the helpful, friendly people who work there. The kind of folks who know their stuff and who'll go the extra mile to help you out. Because after all, taking pride in taking care of people is what AutoZone is all about.
Every day, people are joining the revolution with digital televisions, camcorders, wireless phones, satellite systems, DVD, and more. At H.H. Gray, we have everything you need to join the new way to entertain, communicate, and stay ahead of the game. And if you're ready, we're ready.
Welcome to the revolution.
The digital revolution is here. Be a part of it. H.H. Gray.
29-18, the Hoosiers lead the Gophers here. 3:43 to go in the first half. And lads, we always remember the big scores, but sometimes it's the other little things by some of the other guys.
Dane Fife taking the charge. Now here's a kid averaged 25 points a game in high school. Mr. Basketball in Michigan. And at Indiana, he's been a defensive stopper. Not much of a score. Kerwin Fleming is on the bench now. That's his 3rd foul in the first half. Coaches hate to see a player get 2, but never 3. But Fleming picks that one up, so that hurts the Gopher offense.
A deflection by Reichert, picked off by Schilling. Head to Bennett. Now Simmons forced to kick it back out. Reichert open for 3 off the front of the iron. And Indiana pulls another one down. Moye gets it for the Hoosiers. Partially blocked by Bennett. Haston, good effort, fouled on the way up. Reichert gets called for the foul.
Hornsby loves the 3-point shot. Haston sees it's blocked.
is able to go right after it. Tough move there. If he was not fouled, that'd been a tough shot to make.
Haston now with 9 points in the first half to pace the Hoosiers.
He's the guy for Indiana. Really comes out of the gate well, gets the offense started, and as you try to stop him more, that allows other players to get in the scoring flow of the game.
In double-digit scoring now. Riker tries to trim into the lead. In and out. Boy, it's been that kind of a first half for the Gophers.
I think Minnesota's getting good shots. They're just not hitting them.
A.J. Moye on the fast break from Dane Fife. Dan Munson has seen enough here. His club is down with 2:45 to go. 33 to 18. The Hoosiers can do no wrong here in Bloomington.
Now, Dad, I know I probably owe you a few dollars. Just this one last time? Grandma!
Need money? Teachers Credit Union can help with a home equity line of credit that's below prime.
Anybody?
New batteries. Liquid wrench. Autocraft battery cables. AC Delco alternators. Advance Auto Parts carries more parts than any other store, including one you won't find anywhere else.
You know, we can give you a free installation if you like.
Sure.
Advance Auto Parts. The best part is our people.
These are the final days of your Indiana Ford Store's inventory tax clearance, because nobody likes to pay taxes.
I know we're running out of time, but I've still got more deductions. Interest on my house, spousal deduction. Be right back.
Hurry, inventory tax clearance ends February 28th. Get financing as low as 0.9 or cash up to $1,500.
Late in the first half, Indiana a big lead over Minnesota, and here come the ATA High Flyers.
Look at former Hoosier Damon Bailey as the young daughter. The high flyer from A.J. Moye comes in from the left side. 6'3" and 215, gets up pretty well. There's a look from the other camera. Just took a nice leap, beat the Gophers down the floor. One of the rare first fast break baskets for Indiana. High five from Dane Fife.
How about Dane Fife already, lads, with 5 assists, his career high is 8, and we're still in the first half.
He's doing the little things, the defense taking the charge and passing that ball off.
Simmons, an off-balance shot in the lane. Forced by Indiana's defense. Minnesota's playing well here in the first half. The shots simply aren't falling. For the most part, they're getting some pretty good looks. Shot clock under 10. Hornsby. Little fadeaway shot won't go. Schilling fights for the rebound.
Gophers do fight. They're undersized, but they fight for that rebound. Schilling that time. And they've held their own so far against Indiana.
Bennett for 3. Off the front of the iron. 1:40 to go in the first half. 33-18 Indiana. Nice no-look backdoor by Haston. Moye finishes.
Usually it's the guard who passes the big guy for that layup. This time, though, it's Haston. He dishes down to Moye.
35-18, biggest lead of the game. Schilling gets another chance and gets it off the window.
Ball came right back to him, and that's what I mean about going after that ball. He's just a gutsy player, taking advantage of the playing time he's getting.
Under a minute to go here in the first half. This one lost out of bounds. 44.1 on the clock. And now Jeff Hagan, the walk-on for Minnesota, checks into the game. Indiana has held opponents to 10 field goals or less in a half 15 times this year. Tonight, Minnesota with only 6.
It's been a terrific defense. The thought when Coach Davis came in was they'd be a much more offensive-minded team, but it's actually the defense that has kept them with this great record, 8-6 now in the Big Ten.
Schilling drives. Found that little opening.
He's tough, you know, just a hard-nosed player. He looks for advantages, goes on and takes them. He's made 2 hoops in a row.
It's Minnesota within 35-22. And this one picked off by Burleson. May have gotten away with a walk. 4 seconds to go. Reichert baseline shot off the mark. Well, Minnesota came to life here in the last minute and get within 35-22. The Hoosiers are 23-0 here at home over their last 23 games when leading at halftime. They're up today 35-22.
Luxury is a weekend carving through fresh powder before you get to the slopes. The all-season 2001 Lincoln LS with Advanced Track. It knows exactly what to do when the road gets slippery to help you stay right on course. Starting at $33,335 exclusively at your Lincoln dealer. LS from Lincoln. American luxury.
Hi, honey. How about going out for a nice romantic dinner? No kids, just you and me. In Florida.
It's ATA's 2-to-go sale. Now you can bring a companion along from only $69. Just buy a ticket at ATA's selected off-peak fare to most ATA destinations, and your companion flies along on the same flight from only $69. Just buy your tickets by March 12, 2001. Call your travel agent or 1-800-I-FLY-ATA.
Riley, you gotta eat. What are you doing? You gotta eat.
You gotta eat a Rally's Big Chicken Sandwich. Now just 99 cents. It's big. It's all white meat seasoned just right. Served hot and fresh with crisp lettuce and mayo. Rally's Big Chicken Sandwich. Now just 99 cents. And play the Rally's Hot Food Cool Car Sweepstakes. You could drive away winning 2 T-Birds, a cool vacation, or other great prizes.
You gotta eat.
We got boats. We got boats at Ted's Aquamarine.
Your Mercury Outboard dealer in Central Indiana's place for great selection and top brands. Fishing boats, luxury cruisers, family pontoons, deck boats, rudderabouts. Over 300 name brands in stock. Rinker, Bayliner, Wellcraft, Sweetwater, Fishers, Procraft, Lawn Ranger. Ted's has it all. All powered by Mercury Outboard.
Get the boat you want when you see what you like at Ted's Aquamarine.
Save at Ted's Aquamarine, your #1 Mercury and Mercruiser dealer and boating center.
Factory direct sale
at Watson's.
7-foot spa only $24.99. Deluxe cow spa $49.99. Tanning bed $17.99. Even $8.88.
Factory direct.
That's Watson's.
Saturday night beginning at 7:30, the biggest rivalry in the state of Indiana returns to WB4 Sports when the Hoosiers head to West Lafayette to battle their arch rivals Purdue. Both teams are fighting for bragging rights and for their chance to make the NCAA tournament. The rivalry is back and better than ever. IU takes on Purdue Saturday night beginning at 7:30 on WB4 Sports.
Welcome to the Advance Auto Parts halftime report. Advance Auto Parts, the best part is our people. Indiana leading Minnesota at the break 35-22, along with John Laskowski. I'm Craig Kashan. And Laz, no hangover at all for Indiana after that huge victory against Wisconsin on Saturday.
It was a big confidence builder. They came right out of the gate and done a great job. Kirk Haston leading them, but a 13-point lead. They've got 20 minutes to go. They did in 3 minutes the last time. Don't give up yet.
Well, Haston already has the double-double. Minnesota's missed a lot of shots to help his cause anyway on the rebounding edge.
And Minnesota knows they can come back. They know they've already done it. Now, it's interesting in the locker rooms what's going to be going on. Mike Davis is saying don't let it happen again.
Okay, halftime continues here at Assembly Hall. We'll be back after this timeout. 35-22 Hoosiers over the Gophers.
These are the final days of your Indiana Ford Store's inventory tax clearance, because nobody likes to pay taxes.
I know we're running out of time, but I've still got more deductions. Interest on my house, spousal deduction. Be right back.
Hurry, inventory tax clearance ends February 28th. Get financing as low as 0.9 or cash up to $1,500.
At Napa, we know it takes more than 250,000 parts to earn your trust. It takes more than ASE certified parts professionals and more than dependable quality service. It's not just our national warranty program or NapaOnline.com, where you can park your car on the web for all your automotive needs. So how do we do it? By paying attention to every little detail. Napa, because when it comes to earning your trust, there are no unimportant parts.
Okay, DJ, I'm ready for you. What's the game?
I'll see boomerangs.
Boomerangs? I think I prefer football.
So what are you doing here?
I came here for the big juicy steaks. How about you?
I want that shrimp on the Barbie.
Let's go eat.
Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right. Outback Steakhouse.
They're back.
WB4's the place to be for late-night laughs.
What sorcerer's magic is this?
Get your last laughs from some comedy classics.
We're the crazy generation.
So settle back for a comedy nightcap.
Beer and tang, Bundy mimosas.
Frasier, Nash, and Married with Children. Tonight, beginning at 11 on WB4. Stay tuned after the game for the Union Federal IU Wrap-Up Show. We'll talk to the coaches and players, plus we'll answer your internet questions after the game here on WB4 Sports.
Us is unique.
The teachers have been incredibly supportive.
Their excitement and love for their subject, just spills over into the classroom.
It's a challenge, but you can do it.
There's just not a place better in the country.
Indiana University.
Excellent.
Helping public schools around Indiana get rid of bugs, and they're doing it without using harmful pesticides. This professor from the IU School of Public and Environmental Affairs has created a program schools can use to monitor places where bugs get into buildings and hide. Bloomington's public schools were the first to try it.
We find that it ultimately costs less for the school corporation, and it certainly costs less to the environment and to children's health.
Earlier this year, the Indianapolis Public School System adopted this program. In fact, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has endorsed it, and schools all over the country are now using it. It's time now for an Indiana Minute. February has been Black History Month. On the IU campus at Gary, the month began with this luncheon to promote black entrepreneurship and economic development. One of the speakers at the luncheon was former Gary Mayor Richard Hatcher. Indiana University's Department of Afro-American Studies was founded 30 years ago. Originally, only undergraduate degrees were offered, but the department now offers undergraduate and master's degrees. Scholars and students within the department explore the social and political problems faced by all minorities and by women. Finally, this is what IU students in Bloomington call the Spirit of Sport All-Nighter. It's a once-a-year all-night fundraiser that has generated more than $275,000 in its 25-year history. All of that money is donated to the Indiana Special Olympics program.
I'm Sandy Mathis-Rogue for Indiana University. Quality education, lifetime opportunities.
Welcome back. It's halftime. Mike Max, along with Mike Halloran, Director of Men's Development for the University of Minnesota Men's Athletic Department. And Mike, coming up, you've got an event that you help to facilitate some of the money so that you can facilitate men's sports in the form of an auction.
Right.
What does it entail? When is it?
It is April 28th, which is a Saturday, and it's the Great Gopher Sports Auction. This will be our 6th year, and the proceeds go to Williams Scholarship Fund. So they go to scholarships for our student athletes, and through the 5 years of the program, we've raised $300,000 for scholarships. So it's a major fundraising activity for us, and we put a lot of emphasis on it. What it entails, Mike, is it gives people a unique opportunity to come to Williams Arena here and to bid on items that they wouldn't otherwise be able to get at any other kind of auction. a chance to go to the Final Four, Super Bowl, a suite at the Wild game, travel with the football team, the basketball team, the hockey team, actually travel with the teams, get season tickets to our basketball and hockey and football venues, golf at TPC in Blaine or at Somerset. So there's a series of high-end auction items that otherwise wouldn't be available to folks. In addition, we have throughout the Williams Arena here, we have food and beverage booths, all of it donated by many sponsors, and a lot of activities for the kids as well, pictures with Goldie, and a lot of auction items that the kids would like, ball and bat boy and girl, court boy and girl, and so it's a fun time. There's usually between 500 and 1,000 people here, and we have a big committee working on it, and so it's a good opportunity for people to enjoy
Come on
themselves.
out, yeah. April 28th, right here at Williams Arena, the Gopher Auction benefiting the Williams Fund. When we come back the second half, you're watching Golden Gopher basketball.
In 1851, something very special began. Something that would change the world.
High-yield wheat that feeds millions.
First open heart surgery.
Retractable seat belts.
Mass spectrometer.
Black box flight recorder.
Dental fluoride.
First implantable pacemaker.
K-rations.
First bone marrow transplant.
Nanotechnology.
Genomics.
Cancer research.
Supercomputing.
Tomorrow's doctors.
And tomorrow's artists.
Celebrating 150 years, the University of Minnesota.
Indiana 35, Minnesota 22. We'll be back with more of our halftime show right after this timeout.
You ready? Turtle wax. Grizzly grill guards. Rancho shocks. Gas cans. Advance Auto Parts carries more parts than any other store, including one you won't find anywhere else.
We need some help. We need a lot of help.
Advance Auto Parts. The best part is our people.
Okay, DJ, I'm ready for you. What's the game?
Aussie boomerang.
Boomerangs? I think I prefer football.
So what are you doing here?
I came here for the big juicy steaks. How about you?
I want that shrimp on the Barbie.
Let's go eat.
Outback Steakhouse, no rules, just right. Outback Steakhouse.
They're back.
The March 10th forecast calls for thunder in the RCA Dome. The biggest names in midget car racing go wheel to wheel this Saturday night as Indy Racing and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway present Thunder in the Dome 17. In Indy Racing and midget car stars from 4 to 5:30 at the driver autograph session. At 6, we drop the green flag on Indy's wildest night of open wheel action. Tickets just $17. Kids 12 and under free. Indy Racing and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway present Thunder in the Dome 17. Saturday, March 10th at the RCA Dome.
Enjoy all the comforts of home before you get there. The Acura TL.
Welcome back to the Advance Auto Parts Halftime Report. Advance Auto Parts, the best part is our people. Indiana 35, Minnesota 22. It's been a pretty good first half of basketball for Indiana. Minnesota struggling, however. The league's best three-point shooting team is only hit 2 so far outside the arc.
That's good pressure by Indiana on the defensive end, but I know Dan Munson's going to try to get his team to continue to take those same shots and see if they can make them. In the first half, Indiana didn't shoot that well either, but they did make enough to get that 13-point lead. Haston with the hook shot. And here he just goes after the rebound. He got a double-double in the first half with 11 rebounds already. Dane Fife taking the charge right there. He's the guy for Indiana trying to create things on the defensive end. And A.J. Moy came in the ball game off the bench and got a couple of fast break opportunities. Scores there. Dusty Reichert for Minnesota doing some scoring. Minnesota will keep scratching, see if they can get back in this ball game.
Now let's take a look at the first half stats brought to you by Lincoln American Luxury. And you see the field goal shooting only 23% for Minnesota in this game. Their free throws actually are kind of keeping them right where they are right now. The three-point shooting, as I mentioned, they've only hit 2, but that's out of 11 attempts in this one.
Indiana with the rebound edge, as you can see, and they're taking the ball into paint as well.
And we'll check out the leading scorers as well. Dusty Reichert leading the way with Minnesota with 6 points, and Kirk Hastings 10 points and 11 rebounds in the first half.
And now for something genuinely different from Dodge. It's the truck that redefined what a full-size pickup should be. Dodge Ram. 1 million have switched to Dodge trucks. And with finance savings of up to nearly $3,400 or up to $2,000 cash allowance, different may actually be even better. Dodge Ram. Different.
Because of what they did for me, I can hold a hand, I can play a tune or swing a bat, because they understand. From my shoulder to my fingertips, I'm able to perform. So I'm leaving with my honey.
The Indiana Hand Center. We're more than just hands.
His focus is complete. His determination, steely. This kind of mastery is not a learned skill, but rather an intuitive gift.
Stop it.
He seems tense.
Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers.
Welcome back to Assembly Hall. We're just about ready to start this second half between the Hoosiers and the Gophers. Indiana, a 13-point lead to start out the second 20 minutes of basketball here. They are looking for their 9th Big Ten win and trying to keep a lock on sole possession of 4th place in conference play. Coverdale gives it to Hornsby. Minnesota starts out in that zone again. Inside, Jeffries is fouled on the way in. Minnesota got into a little bit of foul trouble in the first half.
Jeffries got banged on the hip there. The official came over, but I think he's going to stay in the game and shoot these free throws.
It's the first. If he's in pain, it's not too much with that one.
Let's watch inside right there. He got the left forearm right on the side.
He's grimacing just a little bit, but takes his spot on the defensive end of the court after hitting a couple of free throws. And that's how we start out the second half. That lead, though, extended to 15. And this time, Jeffries picks up the foul. As Reichert was dancing along the baseline. That's 3 fouls now on Jared Jeffries.
And Reichert's come to life a little more offensively late in the first half and here early in the second half. He's a very quick player. Just over 14 points a game. Minnesota needs him to start scoring.
This time a turnover. Kirk Hastings waits for his teammates. Dane Fife. If you're Minnesota, lads, you just got to keep shooting and hope they start falling in.
Right, exactly. They're getting good shots. Indiana's continuing to put pressure on them, but you got to keep shooting.
Jeffries passed one up. Coverdale for 3. In and out. Reichert the rebound.
Jared probably should have taken that 15-footer right at the free throw line.
About 17,000 probably agree with you.
Burleson, that's a good shot. I mean, that's a quick shot, but that is the Minnesota offense. They're just not dropping today.
Hornsby fouled on the way in. And this one is going to go on Burleson. That's his second.
There's Dan Munson. I think he's thinking about when should I put on that half-court trap. It worked so well late in the ball game up in Minneapolis. Let's see if Indiana's figured out how to stop him.
Fife, the cross-court pass from Coverdale off the window.
Tough shot. He knew he was going to get banged by Minnesota. And the contact was made there. No foul, but he's able to bank it in.
8 points on the evening for Dane Pfeiffer, averages 4.9 a game. Another miss for the Gophers. Indiana comes out of there with it. Coverdale drives and then picks up the offensive foul. Dusty Reichert there on defense.
Heads up play by Reichert. Coverdale thought he could make it all the way in, then had to dish out, but he knows he ran into Reichert. Here's a look from under the basket. Reichert, sure, he's been there quite a while. Goes right down.
Coverdale now with 3 fouls in the game. We're 2 minutes into the second half. Simmons way off the mark.
That's just a 15-footer, but failed to hit the rim off the backboard.
Simmons has not hit a field goal yet in this game. Jeffries down low, and he picks up the extra one on the foul.
See, one of the new looks Indiana gives Minnesota, they did not have in the first game, is a high-low, where a player gets it up high, and then Jeffries will work low. Either one could exchange that position, and it keeps Jeffries open for the layup.
And Jeffries bounces in his 7th point of the night. A 20-point lead for Indiana. And the Gophers will take a timeout. Well, this timeout is sponsored by Phillips 66 and gives us a chance to look at the upcoming Big Ten tournament next week. And if they were to play it starting today, lads, this is how it breaks down.
You see Indiana, Wisconsin, of course, a rematch of that game from last Saturday, and the Gophers 8-9 game against Purdue. Still could see some juggling there, but you'll see a lot of those games next week in Chicago.
Well, that'll be interesting. It's always fun when it becomes tournament time.
A little different look to the ball games, you know, with one loss and you're out. Different than the regular season, of course, and an opportunity for teams who really didn't think they fared that well in the regular season, a chance for them to catch back up. Illinois and Michigan State, of course, the two teams right at the top. That'd be an interesting game if those two meet.
Well, Illinois travels to Minnesota on Saturday to close out the regular season. Another tough task for the Gophers, but they'd rather play that one at home, no question about it. Jeffries hits a 3. And the lead now is 23.
Well, Indiana starting as well in the second half as they did in the first half. And now it's really got Minnesota in a 23-point behind situation.
Simmons covered by Fife. Nowhere to go. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Simmons drives this time and finally gets one to fall through. That's his first field goal of the evening.
Tough to get through that lane. A lot of Hoosiers in there, but great move inside. Got the good roll.
Terrence Simmons, second on the team in scoring at just under 14 points a game. Here's a look at the shooting compared by halves so far. Minnesota staying cool. Indiana staying right where they want to be as Haston hits again. Gophers inside, this one by Kevin Burleson. (47-26) our score. Steal by the Gophers. Reichert tries to dish to Bennett off of Indiana. Out of bounds. 15:53 to go. A special guest, a former Hoosier great, joins us after this timeout. Indiana on top, 47-26.
It's real.
Steak and Shake, may I help you?
Hello? Hello?
Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers.
If you do not have the ability to resist a great bargain, may we suggest you leave the room. Are you gone? Okay, good.
Announcing True Value's Bargain of the Month, where really big savings mean really small prices. This month, get a Costco folding step stool for $8.99, an 8-roll pack of Bounty towels for $6.88, or a 2-pack of GE silicone kitchen bath sealant for $6.99 minus $5 mail-in rebate. Bargain of the Month. Incredible savings now on sale at your participating True Value hardware.
It's safe to come back now.
And now for something genuinely different from Dodge. It's the truck that redefined what a full-size pickup should be. Dodge Ram. 1 million have switched to Dodge trucks. And with finance savings of up to nearly $3,400 or up to $2,000 cash allowance, different may actually be even better. Dodge Ram. Different.
Welcome back to Assembly Hall. Indiana 47, Minnesota 26. Calbert Cheney, the Big Ten and Indiana's all-time leading scorer, now joins us at halftime. Welcome, Calbert.
Thanks a lot.
I know you're injured right now playing for the Denver Nuggets. You'd probably rather not be here right now, right?
Yeah, I would prefer to be playing. Denver's playing the Lakers tonight, so in Denver, so that would be a good one. But it's always good to come back to Indiana.
One of 15 players honored on the All-Century team, and you've had some great moments here. I would imagine you don't get back here that often.
No, I don't get back too much. I try to get back when I can, and when I do, I try to come play with the players in the summertime. But it tends to get tough. But I'm going to try and make it a note to come a little bit more, and because we got some young players here, young promising players, and like to get to talk to them a little bit, play with them a little bit, and try to get this program back on the map.
Do you keep track of this team as much as you can?
Oh, yeah, all the time. I mean, this team is a young team. They don't have any seniors at all. But they're going to be a very good team next year. So the team looks very, very promising.
Craig Calbert, of course, grew up in Evansville, played Indiana from 90 to 93. And his last 3 years, Indiana was ranked in the top 10 51 out of 53 weeks. Some great Indiana teams he played on. He was the MVP selection 4 times here at Indiana. He was a 3-time first-team All-Big Ten selection and still holds the league's all-time scoring record, 2,613 points. And Calvert, I had the chance to broadcast that game when you broke the record. There was a little jump shot right on this side of the floor here, and still remember that going in. What do you remember about that day?
Oh, it was a very nerve-wracking moment. I guess, once before the game, I was really nervous because I had an idea how many points I needed, but I was just really, really nervous. But once the game got started, the nervousness goes right away. Only thing you're concentrating on is your team winning. And, it was just a great moment. Damon fed me with a great pass, and I was able to hit the shot.
Damon Bailey also here. Remember this great team?
Oh, yeah, Damon. Excellent. Excellent player.
On the floor, Indiana a 49-28 lead. And it's going to be Minnesota basketball. Down big here with just under 15 minutes to go. Our guest is Calbert Cheney, the former Indiana Hoosier great and Big Ten all-time leading scorer. As Laz mentioned, 2,613 points. Can you pick one memory out of all those points?
I guess the shot that allowed me to break the record. I just give a lot of credit to my teammates that were on the team at the time. We had a great year that year. It was a lot of fun, and I wouldn't trade anything for it.
Good move by Jared Jeffries there. What do you think of his game that you've seen so far today? 6'10" and just a freshman.
Oh, yeah, he's tremendously talented for his size, because I've watched him on TV out west, and he can dribble, he can handle, he can shoot, he can post. His only thing he needs to do is just put a little bit more weight, get stronger, put on some muscle, and so he won't get thrown around there. Sometimes he tends to get a little lackadaisical inside, but once he puts on some muscle, he's going to be really, really good. One of the great ones.
Tom Coverdale on the drive, and Indiana continues to play well here, 53-31, and Jeffries holding that side. Not 100% here in the second half. However, he's running the floor like he is right now. Good feed to Haston. He's fouled, throws one up. It won't go, but he'll go to the free throw line.
Calvert, you've had that feeling where, you know, something's nagging you before you got that ball and you see that rim. I mean, it doesn't hurt as much, does it?
No, it doesn't hurt.
Score.
I guess when you see between you and a little bit of wood flooring the rim, you want to get there. So you're not going to feel it until after you make the bucket.
Good game for Hayes. Let's talk about Denver now. You got traded there this year. Dan Issel, the coach there, former Indianapolis high school star Louis Dampier, coach there. You like the coaching staff there?
Oh yeah, they have a great coaching staff. Issel and Louis Dampier and John Lucas played at Maryland and was in the league for a while. They really have a good coaching staff, and we have a really good team with Antonio McDyess and Nick Van Exel. They got Ray LaFrance. We got a pretty good team. And making a playoff run, win a playoff race with a few teams. So it's been a pretty good year, and hopefully we can keep it going.
What about you? How soon do you hope to be back with the team?
It'll be about 3-4 weeks. I'm going back tomorrow, but it'll be 3-4 weeks because I got a torn calf muscle, so it takes a while to heal. So I'm just waiting on that.
And your family's here. I saw a little guy. Today's his birthday, huh?
Yeah, my little son Julian. It's his first birthday. He's a year old today. So.
Boy, your team, your old team, continues to roll.
Oh yeah, playing really well today.
57-31. Count that one plus the foul. Here's another look.
Shots missed. Haston right there with it. Goes up strong. Gets fouled by Bennett. And able to get the roll. Bennett now with 4 fouls. And Haston back to the line. Can we count this, Calvert, then, as your son's first recruiting trip to Indiana in about 17 more years?
Well,
do it?
It's on him, whatever he wants to do. If he decides he wants to play ball, he wants to come here, and he can do whatever he wants.
All right.
He was on the floor earlier. I tried to get him off the court. He was playing with a basketball. He wouldn't come off. Had to chase him down.
Another three-pointer, this time by Hornsby. And Dan Munson calls another timeout, but about the only thing that's going to help Minnesota right now is simply that ball to start falling through. Indiana has been able to take advantage of some miscues and some missed shots and build a 61-34 lead. And this timeout is sponsored by Phillips 66 and gives us a chance to look at that Indiana All-Century team. Calvert Cheney, of course, on the list. Steve Alford, this is listed alphabetically. And Damon Bailey, some great names. Walt Bellamy. Laz, you take the rest.
Archie Dees, a star in the late 50s. A.J. Guyton just graduated with the Bulls now up in Chicago. Quinn Buckner, a teammate of mine here in Indiana. Alan Henderson with the Atlanta Hawks. Scott May was player of the year in 1976. George McGinnis just 1 year here. Spent a little time with Denver as well. And Don Schlaunt, one of the first big men ever, 6'10", played on Indiana's 1953 national champion team.
Calvert, do you miss playing the style of the college basketball, the different type of atmosphere? Obviously, to the pros, it's different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot different. You don't have as many, you don't have the fan support. I mean, in some cities you do, but the fan support and as good as it is in college, and you have your fan. Not only do you have your fans backing you, but you also have the college students backing you as well, and the whole campus and the whole university. And it's just an excellent feeling.
Calvert, any special memories against Minnesota back when you played from 90 to 93? Any names that stand out or good games you had against the Gophers?
Oh yeah, I mean I always enjoy playing against them. My teammate Bashawn Leonard out in Denver. We always talk about it, and he always say that every time they came in here to Assembly Hall that we always cheated. And I said I don't know about all that. He said he always said the refs were on our side. So I said I don't know about all that. I know we just beat you pretty good, but yeah, I mean I used to enjoy playing against those guys. They had some really good teams as well.
Indiana continues to play defense here on the floor. Haston from Coverdale, 65-34, a 31-point lead, and a standing ovation here at Assembly Hall. And a quick foul by Jeffrey Newton.
Calvert, you might consider a broadcasting career. As soon as you got here, Indiana extended their lead. maybe just the inspiration you have.
No, they're doing a great job tonight. They're doing everything right.
Thanks, Kelber Cheney, for joining us, and continued success to you.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Time out on the floor. Indiana leading big time.
Hi, honey. How about going out for a nice romantic dinner? No kids, just you and me. In Florida.
It's ATA's 2-to-go sale. Now you can bring a companion along from only $69. Just buy a ticket at ATA's selected off-peak fare to most ATA destinations, and your companion flies along on the same flight from only $69. Just buy your tickets by March 12, 2001. Call your travel agent or 1-800-I-FLY-ATA.
At Napa, we know it takes more than 250,000 parts to earn your trust. It takes more than ASE certified parts professionals and more than dependable quality service. It's not just our national warranty program or NapaOnline.com, where you can park your car on the web for all your automotive needs. So how do we do it? By paying attention to every little detail. Napa, because when it comes to earning your trust, there are no unimportant parts.
And now for something uniquely different from Dodge. The Dodge Durango. For power, room, payload, and towing, Durango is just right. And since qualified returning Gold Key lessees can lease this Durango for just $277 a month, different may actually be even better. Dodge Durango. Different.
Indiana 65, Minnesota 34. They're going nuts here at Assembly Hall. Lots to cheer about. Scores from around the top 25. Number 6, Florida leading Vanderbilt in the second half. Elsewhere, number 7, Virginia tops Clemson. And we'll have some more scores for you here in the next few minutes. Minnesota with the basketball. Calling the last time out. What do you do, Laz, when you're down by 31 on the road?
Well, now you really got to start making some shots. Indiana is just like that. A tough shot by Ryan. When Indiana came out to start that second half and really increased that lead. I mean, 13 points you can come back from. 29, that's another story.
Reichert fouls Jared Jeffries. Great to see Kelber Cheney. Check out some more top 25 scores. Iowa State leading Texas Tech. Number 10, Kansas, the early lead over Kansas State. Boston College, and a close one with St. John's. Another close one. And Kentucky leading Auburn. Don't see the ball going in and out of the hoop too often tonight. The last couple of games for Indiana. Burleson drives, kicks to Schilling for 3. Off the mark, hits the shot clock, so it's going to be Indiana basketball.
Well, that's the one way for Minnesota to do it. They drive in the lane and kick back out for the three-point shot. The problem is they're just not hitting the three-point shot today. Now here's some full court pressure.
Hornsby loops it inside to Jared Jeffries. 14 points on the night.
Boy, Indiana really playing well. And you know, Craig, teams that play well this last week of the season really gives them a lift going into that Big Ten tournament, for sure.
Absolutely. A foul is called. Jeffries wanted the block. And here come the ATA Flyers.
There's a smile on Jared Jeffries' face. And here he is at the other end. Hornsby with the nice lead pass. See, Jared had his hand up, anticipating that pass. Makes it look easy.
Burleson misses the free throw. Bennett set to check in for Wildenborg.
Hey, the crowd these last two games, Saturday against Wisconsin, tonight's crowd against Minnesota, very loud as it's been here all year, and that really gives the home team a boost as well.
No question. In and out on both attempts. Ball loose on the court, however, but Indiana comes out of there with it. Hornsby ahead to Coverdale. Now to Fife. Jeffries loops it, and shot is good for Jeffrey Newton. He's got 6.
Indiana's height paid off there. Jeffries to Newton on the pass, and he got the easy layup.
Reichert's shot is blocked by Newton out of bounds.
Let's watch Indiana. They move this ball around. 5 Scott. He goes to Jeffries. Jeffries guarded, goes to Newton, and he uses his height for the layup.
Simmons to inbound. 23 seconds on the shot clock. Fleming dribbles, then shoots the 3, and it falls in with a little help from the backboard.
Helps when you get that roll every once in a while. Shot was right on line, but needed that bounce off the rim and the board to go in.
Well, Indiana beat Wisconsin by 30 and lead Minnesota by 30 in back-to-back games. That is awfully impressive no matter who you're playing in conference play. Five tries to feed Newton. This one slapped away. Here come the Gophers. Fleming for 3, and he hits. That's Minnesota basketball right there.
That's Gopher ball. And Munson likes that. The shot finally starting to drop.
And Schilling fouls Hornsby.
Indiana's figured out the press. In the first game up in Minneapolis, Minnesota had several steals. Here's that shot. Nice high arch. Soft off the rim. Nothing but net.
And he follows that one up with another one. Free throw made by Hornsby. Gets another chance. 2 for 2, 71-42. Under 9 minutes to go. Reichert drives. This one blocked. Newton gets his hand on it again. Long three-pointer. Coverdale. Well, Indiana is not playing, Laz, like they're up by 30-plus points. They're playing on both ends very strongly.
And that's hard to do, Craig. A lot of times you look at the scoreboard and tend to relax. And Indiana's been doing that in the past. They've had 20-point leads that have been down. But look at Coverdale. Just steps right up, hits it. 30 seconds to go on the shot clock. That's confidence.
There's a look at the fast break points. All Indiana. This one blocked. Minnesota wanted a goaltend. Ball loose, and Fife gets it. This one short. Reichert the rebound. Simmons, another block down low for Newton.
I think that's 4 in a row for Newton now.
Hornsby the steal, gives it to Newton, flies in, misses the shot, and we're going to get a foul called. And this one on Simmons taking the block, and Dan Munson just shakes his head. He is searching for something positive here this evening, but having a hard time.
Here's a look now as Newton goes up strong. Going to use that left hand. There's the contact.
A.J. Moye back into the game for Indiana for Coverdale. He gets a nice hand. So Newton hits a pair, 76-42. Indiana playing it on both sides of the court. We're coming back to Assembly Hall in a moment.
Come on, Joey, let's have some of Grandma's old recipe ice cream.
Wow, it sure looks good.
It is, Joey. There's a whole world of wonderful flavors in her old recipe ice cream. It starts with fresh cream and cane sugar, then in go all kinds of other great tasting treats.
Gosh, did Grandma make it herself?
Of course not, Joey. She goes to the store and buys it like everybody else.
Taste the premium quality of old recipe ice cream from Prairie Farms.
Time goes slow, life goes fast, and as you watch the moment pass, suddenly when you're old enough to see, it's a union of people, you and me. Union Federal, all your banks should be.
And now for something uniquely different from Dodge. The Dodge Durango. For power, room, payload, and towing, Durango is just right. And since qualified returning Gold Key lessees can lease this Durango for just $277 a month, different may actually be even better. Dodge Durango. Different.
Back at Assembly Hall, 76-42 Indiana, and a rout over Minnesota right now with 7:47 to go. And we're joined by another Hoosier great, Newcastle's Kent Benson, who scored more than 1,700 points and hauled down more than 1,000 rebounds. Good to see you.
Thank you, Greg. It's great being with you here. I'll tell you what, I'm excited about these Hoosiers.
Well, I tell you what, they're playing awfully well for you guys tonight.
They sure are. I'm really excited about the effort defensively. And Laz had mentioned earlier that they've had a tendency to let up when they've been ahead by 20 or more points, and they just are starting to mature. They're peaking at the right time, and I'm excited about what I'm seeing here because I think they've got a great future going into the tournament.
Well, you certainly have been honored many, many times over your playing career and had an outstanding college career. What's it like to come back at a day like this and be honored as one of the top 15 players of all times in 100 years of basketball here at in this school?
Well, Greg, it's no doubt a very humbling and honorable experience, and I'm excited about the opportunity to be among the elite of Indiana basketball. But I have to thank one of my best friends in life here, John Laskowski, for keeping me here to IU when things weren't always going well. Remember that last?
Benny was a freshman and playing a lot, Craig, and Coach Knight was on him quite a bit. And I remember 4 or 5 times I had to walk back to the McNutt quadrangle because Benny was packing his bags, heading back to Newcastle. And fortunately, I was able to talk him out of it and went on to become the MVP in the Final Four in 1976. He scored 25 points in that game against Michigan, and Indiana won the national championship. Benny, I'm glad you didn't take that car back to Newcastle.
Well, so am I, Laz. And, you know, I'll never forget the conversations that we had where I used to focus on Coach Knight's approach to myself and to the game and some of the language that he used. And I focused on that and wasn't concentrating on what he was teaching from a basketball standpoint. And I'll never forget the time that Dave Bliss had encouraged me to start focusing on what Coach was talking about from a basketball standpoint and forget about the other things. And when I started doing that, I started seeing things happening in my own life on the basketball court. And of course, you guys' tremendous encouragement and support is, I'm just so thankful for that.
A lot of good players on that team, Craig. Of course, Scott May, Quinn Buckner, Bobby Wilkerson. But we needed a center. And Big Red here, Kent Benson, did the job for us. He was younger than the rest of us by at least 1 or 2 years. But he was an integral part of what happened to those Indiana teams. And even when we had to battle those guys, Kentucky, Phillips and Roby, I know you did your best in there, but we were just a little short manned on that one, huh?
Yeah, that was a tough year. That was a year that Scott May got hurt, and Laz came in and did a fabulous job in his place, super sub, and you know the opportunity came around when we played Kentucky and ended up losing that game by 2 points. But it set for us a precedence for the next year. We were 31-1 that year, and in 1976 we came back and won it all, undefeated. And you know, the great leadership of John Laskowski, Steve Green, Steve Offeld, it was just a real blessing.
To reach some more impressive numbers, your first team All-American 2 years in a row in 1976 and 77, the Big Ten MVP in 1977. 8th all-time here at Indiana in scoring at more than 1,700 points in your career. third all-time in rebounding, more than 1,000 rebounds. And who can forget the 25 points in the NCAA championship game against Michigan in 1976, earning you tournament MVP. How do you pick one great moment, Kent?
Well,
to remember.
My one great moment is my 4 years here at Indiana University, and having the opportunity to play with the likes of, the guys on the team here: John Laskowski, Steve Green, Tom Abernathy, Glenn Buckner, Scott May, Bobby Wilkerson, Jimmy Cruz. I mean, and to have the opportunity to play for Coach Knight, I look back on those 4 years, and that was a tremendous moment in my life. And to sum it all up, I just thank God for the opportunity of coming to Indiana University and playing basketball here for such a great coach and a great bunch of teammates.
What about playing against these Gophers? Any memories up there, or having them play down here at Assembly Hall?
Well, as I remember back, Minnesota had a pretty tough team. Of course, back then that was Bill Musselman's era, and Bill liked to have a showboat. If you remember the pre-games or warm-ups, right. They come out on unicycles and juggling basketballs and you name it, all kinds of circus. But they still produced a very good basketball team, and were tough to play against. But they had the likes of Michael Thompson, Kevin McHale, who ended up having great pro careers as well.
You said you were excited about this team, Kent. Back-to-back 30-plus point wins looks like it's going to happen here again. How impressive is that, and where do you see this team realistically going?
Well, I see this team as a team that is young and inexperienced. It's gaining a lot of experience here in the last several games. They're building their confidence. They're starting to understand what Mike Davis wants. They were put in extreme unfortunate conditions coming into this season, and they have through the course of this season overcome those situations and challenges and extreme conditions, and have risen to be, in my opinion, they have the potential of being a national championship contending team. It's going to take some development. It's going to take a couple more years of really putting together this team, getting the recruits in here. But I think, without a shadow of a doubt, that Mike Davis has done an incredible job. I commend him. I congratulate him. And I would encourage the university to really look seriously at giving him a 3-year contract so he can continue to mold and develop this team into the capable, the potential that they have of being national championship contenders.
I'm sure a lot of people would vote along with you for a return for Mike Davis.
Well, I just think that Mike deserves it. The kids deserve it. The university deserves it, and Indiana basketball fans deserve it. My goodness, it takes a coach at least 4 years to put together a team. And Mike Davis, he recruited these kids, these young kids that are out here on the floor today. He's done a great job and brought some great prospects, and we've got some great potential recruits coming in for next year. And I would just hate to see Mike Davis not given the opportunity to accomplish what he can actually accomplish in the next 3 years.
I'll tell you, Mike Roberts has really become a crowd favorite. There he is, number 33. But back in your day, when old Don Nort got in the ball game, he got the same reaction, didn't he?
Dandy Don, he sure did. Laz, that's one thing that I'd like to mention to people is that the guys that sit on the bench, that they don't get a lot of playing time, but people have got to understand something, that those guys that sit on the bench and don't get a lot of the playing time during the game are the guys that were instrumental in working us in practice to make us tougher. And every time we went out on the basketball court, it always seemed that the second team was our toughest opponent, more so than the team that we were playing against.
I was at practice this week and watched Mike Davis, and he stopped practice to congratulate Mike Roberts. He said, "Kirk, you need to thank Mike Roberts for what he does for you in practice, because he's made you the player you are this year." And it was a compliment to Kirk for having a good year, but a compliment to Mike Roberts for really pushing Kirk as well.
Absolutely. And it takes special kids to be able to work as hard as Mike Roberts works, and then not get the playing time, but to have that type of a compliment come from the coach. The guy works hard constantly. Every time he steps foot on the basketball court in practice or whatever, why, he's out there to make his teammates better. And in doing so, by sacrificing himself, he's doing it for the team. You got to have those kind of players.
I'll tell you, one of the most interesting guys glad to have back is Walt Bellamy. Here's a guy who played in the late 50s, early 60s, got 33 rebounds in one ball game. The man was a rebounding king his time in the Big Ten.
Absolutely. You look at his stats, Laz, he's got great credentials and, of course, had a great pro career as well. And he is no doubt deserving of the honor of being on the All-Century team.
Approaching 4 minutes here in the ball game, 84-48. Schilling hits, and Minnesota gets their 50th point. Well, it's great to have you here, Kent, and great to see so many faces from the past. It's got to be I'm sure it's been a good last 24 hours or so for you to see all those faces.
Absolutely, Greg. It's been real exciting and, like I said, a humbling experience too.
Thanks to Ken Benson. We're coming back after this timeout.
And now for something exclusively different from Dodge. The Dodge Dakota, with more available horsepower, payload, and towing capacity than any compact. And with a $2,000 cash allowance or low 0.9% financing, you'll find the difference may actually be even better. Dodge Dakota. Different.
Indiana 84, Minnesota 53-44 to go. Let's check out a play on the telestrator brought to you by AutoZone. The right part, the right price, and good advice.
All right, here's the press. Now, this is where Coverdale wants to stay away from right there. So he gets rid of the ball in plenty of time. And now Jared Jeffries is open, so he can come right here for a nice lob pass from Hornsby. Good job of breaking the press right there.
Well, I have been impressed by the last two outings by this Indiana Hoosier team. They obviously shot the lights out of the ball on Saturday, but today I'm sure Mike Davis has to be pretty happy with what he's seen on both ends of the court.
Because the shooting wasn't quite as good as it was against Wisconsin. You're not going to have those games once every 4 or 5 years, but they hung in there. The lead was 13 at the half, and now Indiana's just built this into now 34-point lead here, and all the players have gotten into the game at this point.
Elsewhere in the Big Ten tonight, Northwestern looking for the win at Michigan, 57-51. They lead it in the second half. The Wildcats looking for their third Big Ten win in the last few weeks after going 0 for 32. Look out, Big Ten tournament.
They could be the team, huh? It's going to be very interesting next week in Chicago, that's for sure.
It's not going to be easy for anybody. Simmons loops it down low to Schilling.
He might have felt George Leach coming to block that one, turned it into a pass.
Schilling the rebound. This one blocked again by Leach.
And off of Minnesota, Indiana gets it.
3:01 to go. Well, we had Calvert Cheney in and Kent Benson, and it's great for those guys to stop by and catch up on some old times.
I'll tell you, Benson was quite a center. He just worked hard and made himself a good player.
Well, I grew up in Wisconsin, and I remember him with the Milwaukee Bucks. Started his NBA career there.
Played several years in Detroit as well.
This one blocked. Minnesota trying to keep up on the defensive end, but not this time.
Roberts goes up, Leach goes up, but it's Moye at 6'3". He goes up, he gets it to go. Sometimes you just can't figure it out.
86-52. When Indiana scores 75 points or more in a game this season, they are now 11-0 at the conclusion of this one.
And that's because they play such good defense. They're not going to give up a lot of points, and their offense is really clicking today.
Jeff Hagan to the free throw line. Hits the first. Well, it certainly does not get any easier for Minnesota, although they're at home. They play Illinois on Sunday to close out the regular season of the Big Ten. As you see, Burleson go out with a career-high 5 steals in this game.
Looks like Moye got poked in the eye by his teammate. Seems to be okay.
And it could come down to Michigan State and Illinois tying for the Big Ten championship, which would be the Spartans 4th in the world, at least grabbing a share.
Terrific run by Tom Izzo and that group of Michigan State.
Andre Owens tries a behind-the-back pass that fails. Fleming drives. It is fouled by Hornsby. That's his 4th. 1:48 to go. There's Kirk Haston. He had the double-double in the first half.
All right, here's a look. Minnesota on the drive. Hornsby leaves his feet early. And the foul. You need to wait until the offense leaves its feet and then try to knock the ball without making the foul.
Fleming in and out on the free throw attempt. He had a career high the last time these two teams met and is shooting for another one. He's got 15 points. That matches his career high from game 1 against Indiana. And he can't get either free throw to go. 1:45 remaining in this ball game. Minnesota had a 15-3 record the last time they beat Indiana, but lost 7 of the next 9. Due mostly in part to the injuries to John Blair Bickerstaff and Michael Bauer. Down to 7 healthy scholarship players.
And Indiana's now 7-3 since that ball game. So really 2 different outcomes from that ball game.
89 points now for the Hoosiers. Ball bounces around. Indiana comes out of there with it. Andre Owens on the break. He pops for 3. Won't go. Rebound by Mike Roberts to keep it alive. We're under a minute to go. Battles for it. Here come the Gophers. Final 30 seconds here from Assembly Hall. This one out of bounds to Indiana. Well, the Hoosiers got 85 points the other night against Wisconsin in a 30-point win. They have 89 here this evening. That would be their 2nd most points put on the board this season. Andre Owens lets time wind down. Final 10 seconds. Indiana will improve to 18-11. And that makes Mike Davis score the most wins in his first year by any other Indiana coach in the program's history. 18-11. The Hoosiers record right now 9-6 in Big Ten play, and they keep a lock right now on 4th place in the Big Ten with an 89-53 victory over Minnesota. Kirk Haston, as I mentioned, had the double-double already in the first half with 10 points and 11 rebounds. Indiana had a 13-point lead at halftime, but that lead quickly ballooned to 30 points before we were even midway through the second half. Saturday, the Hoosiers return to action on ESPN Plus when they travel to West Lafayette to take on their arch rivals, the Purdue Boilermakers. Catch all the action beginning at 8 o'clock right here on ESPN Plus. plus. Let's go to John Laskowski. John?
Now with me, Coach Mike Davis, and I'll tell you, one thing about a team, when they're playing well at the end of the year, that's a good sign the coach is doing a good job. 2 great games in a row for Indiana, Wisconsin, and then again today against Minnesota.
Well, our guys right now are playing with a lot of confidence. We're really working on execution offensively the last couple of weeks. I thought we played well against Illinois and Michigan State, but they just had a better team. But right now, I feel like we're ready to play anybody in the country.
You said you were nervous before this ball game, but your kids were not nervous at all. They came right out from the start and took this game to Minnesota.
I was definitely nervous because we played so well on Saturday, and everybody expected for you to come out and shoot 70% again. But we came out, we had really good execution, and defensively we played great.
Now, the defense is the key. You knew that coming into the ball game. You've been holding good offensive teams down. You did it again today with Minnesota.
Well, you know, last night I watched Michigan State against Wisconsin, and Michigan State scored 51 points. I said, how in the world we score 85 points against Wisconsin? But our guys are really playing with a lot of confidence, and they're doing well.
All right, so now you got one last game at Purdue and then the Big Ten tournament. Nothing like playing this good going into those 2 big games.
Well, you know, Purdue is like a different season. It's just not a ball game. It's a different season. And our guys will be ready to play. I'm quite sure Purdue will be ready to play also. Coach Katie is a great coach. He gets his guys to play extremely hard. I've been watching his team play a lot, and that's what I'm trying to get my team to play extremely hard.
All right, you've always had your big guys playing well inside. They've been scoring a lot of points. But really, in these last 2 ball games, the guards have been scoring. Not necessarily from the 3-point line today, but that's been a big point for you, is it's balanced the scoring out, and you've won 2 big ball games in a row.
Well, we get our guards to take outside shots when they're open. They really open up the inside for Kurt and Jared. I think Kurt Hastings is playing better than anyone in the league right now. And I think Jared's the best freshman in the league. So we have 2 inside weapons, and if our guards just continue to step up and take shots, it'll really take a load off those guys.
What do you think about this win? You think you're in the NCAA tournament now?
I hope so. We have 18 wins, but you can't take anything for granted. We're going to come out Saturday and try to get a win there. If not, definitely try to get 1 or 2 in the tournament.
I'll tell you, you've had a terrific year breaking this team in here, teach them the new offense, great defense, and congratulations on a good year, and keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
All right, Craig, take it.
Okay, Laz, thanks very much. 9 wins now in the Big Ten for Indiana with just the 6 losses. Not too many teams really with 9 wins don't get into the tournament. So you never say never, but we'll see what happens at Purdue. For Indiana, we also have the Big Ten tournament to go as well. Minnesota certainly not out of it yet. 17-11 overall. You never know, folks, with that Big Ten tournament coming up. Leading scorers for Indiana, Hastings, as I mentioned, had the double-double, 21 points and 14 rebounds. Jeffries with 14 points. Coverdale has 12. So does Kyle Hornsby. For Minnesota, Kerwin Fleming leads the way in scoring with 17 points. 3 other players had 8 points apiece. Big Ten tournament, of course, coming up next week. And if the season were to end today, Indiana has a lock on that number 4 seed. Wisconsin, with their last 2 games, both number 5, they close out the regular season Saturday at Iowa. And Iowa may be struggling right now, but certainly no gimme there for Wisconsin. So it'll be interesting to see if things wind up with Indiana at 4 and Wisconsin 5, with both teams having just played on Sunday. If that's the case, they would play the first game Friday on March 9th. Again, the Hoosiers return to action on ESPN Plus when they travel to West Lafayette to take on their arch rival Purdue Boilermakers. Catch it all right here on ESPN Plus starting at 8 o'clock. For John Laskowski, I'm Craig Kashan saying so long from Assembly Hall. Indiana 89, Minnesota 53. This has been a presentation of ESPN Plus, the worldwide leader in collegiate sports television.
Indiana University Basketball on WB4 is brought to you by your Central Indiana Dodge dealers. Papa John's Pizza, better ingredients, better pizza. By your Central Indiana Ford stores. And by Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. Beverages, groceries, gas, and snacks. If you gotta stop, make it Max. Fast Max convenience stores. If it's gotta be fast, it's gotta be Max.
Luxury is a weekend carving through fresh powder before you get to the slopes. The all-season 2001 Lincoln LS with Advanced Track. It knows exactly what to do when the road gets slippery to help you stay right on course. Starting at $33,335 exclusively at your Lincoln dealer. LS from Lincoln. American luxury.
The Keystone Grill, one of Indy's premier dining establishments, offers you more than just a menu. When the ordinary just won't do, come to the Keystone Grill. While dining, attempt to resist the extremely rare assortment of cognacs. Select from rare Sullivans and Urte. Add a pleasant addition to your dining experience, the Cognac Cart. It's a Keystone Grill original for an award-winning dining experience in an ambiance created for special moments. The Keystone Grill, when you expect more than just a meal.
Factory direct sale
at Watson's.
7-foot spa, only $24.99. Deluxe cow spa, $49.99. Tanning bed, $17.99, even $8.88.
Factory direct.
That's Watson's.
Stay tuned after the game for the Union Federal IU Wrap-Up Show. We'll talk to the coaches and players, plus get the latest from the post-game press conference, right here on WB4 Sports. Catch the Marsh IU Warm-Up Show, Saturday before the game on WB4.
Martin's got a secret, and it could mean matrimony.
Because I'd love another corn dog, Ma.
On Frasier.
Wednesday night at 11 on WB4.
Tonight on IU Wrap-Up, we'll look at the stats and highlights of tonight's game against the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. And we'll take you to the 100 years of Hoosier basketball celebration. IU Wrap-Up is brought to you by Union Federal Bank, Indiana-owned, Indiana-operated. Now, IU Wrap-Up. There's your final score. Indiana wins at 89-53. They go to 9-6 in Big Ten play, 18-11 overall. The 100th anniversary of Indiana basketball, the All-Century Team ceremony coming up next. Stay with us.
There's a lot of reasons why so many people who take care of their cars turn to AutoZone each week. The low prices on the replacement parts they really need, and the large selection of the things they simply want. But most of all, they come to AutoZone because of the helpful, friendly people who work there. The kind of folks who know their stuff and who'll go the extra mile to help you out. Because after all, taking pride in taking care of people is what AutoZone is all about.
The greatest thing I feel I'll take away from being an IU football player is the sense of leadership and family that I've received since I've been here. I feel that I'm going to enter the field very prepared in whatever I do, just from the different classes I've taken and the broad educational experience I've received so far. If I had the opportunity to say something to those who make athletic scholarships possible, I'd have to say thank you on behalf of myself and all other student athletes at IU.
Help support a student athlete. Call the Varsity Club today at 855-0866.
Murphy.
Kill Isaiah.
He's dead. Justin.
Timothy.
JB.
Spencer.
Ooh, Spencer. I'm scared. Is your mom still dressing you? Big E.
Okay, kids, let's put the ball away and start the debate.
Through key joint ventures and strategic acquisitions, we're building the new Phillips.
And now for something genuinely different from Dodge. It's the truck that redefined what a full-size pickup should be, Dodge Ram. 1 million have switched to Dodge trucks. And with finance savings of up to nearly $3,400 or up to $2,000 cash allowance, different may actually be even better. Dodge Ram. Different.
89-53, Indiana with a big win over Minnesota. 9-6 now in Big Ten play in 4th place. Now let's take a look at tonight's final stats brought to you by Union Federal Bank, Indiana-owned, Indiana-operated.
On the first half, neither team shot the ball very well, but you can see for the entire game, Indiana really came out in the second half, got off to about a 20-4 start to start the half. They shoot 52% for the game. Minnesota under 30%. You can see the free throws. Indiana continues, second game in a row, 29-31, continuing to convert. When they shoot 52% from the field and 29-31 from the field, out-rebound them, double the rebound. Indiana's a very dominant team. People better watch out. Indiana's getting better and better.
All right, all this season, Outback Steakhouse will donate a Huggaroo to Riley Children's Hospital for every 3-point shot that the Hoosiers make. With tonight's 6 threes, that brings the total to 165 Huggaroos. Our thanks to Outback Steakhouse. All right, let's recheck the fueling factors now. brought to you by Fastmax Convenience Stores and Sunoco.
What'd you pick out tonight, Laz?
Well, you take a look at them, see what you
let's
think.
See.
Now, I'm not going to give it away until they come up there. We're going to look at Indiana's. They're trying to find them. I'm going to tell you what they were. For Indiana, it was guard scoring and defensive pressure. What do you think of those two?
Well, as far as guard scoring, Kyle Hornsby had another big night for Indiana. He came out. Dane Fife also got in the scoring column. A guy that usually doesn't score many points, scored 8 points. Tom Coverdale once again lighting it up from 3-point range. So Indiana's guard scoring did a very, very good job, which really opens it up inside for him.
And defensive pressure was there, that's for sure. When we come back, we'll hear from the members of the 100 All-Century team of Indiana basketball.
No multi-million-dollar contracts. No victory laps. Not even a winner's circle. But if you think these weekend warriors who run the Score Desert Championship Series take anything for granted, think again. Which is exactly why they run with the Duralast battery from AutoZone. A battery so tough, so dependable, we back it with a 2-year free replacement guarantee. The next time you hit the road, don't settle for anything less.
It's a union of people, you and me. Union Federal, all your banks should be.
At Marsh, we're known for freshness and great value. But do you know what we're most proud of? We're proud to be part of what makes this community great. If it's good for families, Marsh is there.
And now for something genuinely different from Dodge. It's the truck that redefined what a full-size pickup should be. Dodge Ram. 1 million have switched to Dodge trucks. And with finance savings of up to nearly $3,400 or up to $2,000 cash allowance, different may actually be even better. Dodge Ram. Different.
WB4 is the place to be for late night laughs.
What sorcerer's magic is this?
Get your last laughs from some comedy classics.
We're the crazy generation.
So settle back for a comedy nightcap.
Beer and tang, Bundy mimosas.
Frasier, Nash, and Married with Children. Tonight, beginning at 11 on WB4.
Bizarre Springer stories.
You will never control me again.
On the next Jerry Springer.
Thursday night at 5 on WB4.
Indiana 89, Minnesota 53. Coverage of the 100 years of Indiana basketball celebration is brought to you by the IU Varsity Club. Help support the student athlete. Call the IU Varsity Club at 812-855-0866. Now let's go to the ceremony where Damon Bailey has just been introduced.
Tim Garl, God knows I spent way too much time in the training room. But, you know, the coaching staff was great. The players that I played with, you know, a lot of players on those teams. Some of them are going to be honored here tonight, and a lot of others could be here as well. You know, I've got my family here, my mother, my father, my wife, my kids. You know, it's something that, you know, is very special to be able to share this moment with them for all the love and support they've given me through the years. And lastly, I'd like to thank the fans. You know, this is... The fans are what make Indiana basketball. You know, these guys up here and myself, it makes it a lot easier when you come in here and there's 19,000 fans screaming. You know, it's a lot easier to come out here and to beat a team 89-53 when you've got fans like you guys. So again, thank you. You know, these guys have had a very tough year. Coach Davis, the whole team, the transition of going to a new system, a lot of new players. You know, they've had a great year. Hopefully they're not done, and I think with your support the way it's been, they could do very, very good in the tournament. And then next year, if we keep everything the same way, should have a great team. Thank you.
Damon Bailey. Our next, he lettered here in 1959, 60, and 61. The team MVP and first team All-Big Ten selection and All-America in 1960 and 61. He was a member of the gold medal 1960 United States Olympic team, and he holds IU records for most rebounds in a game and season. His 1,088 career boards are ranked second in IU history. He averaged 20.6 points during his IU career. A great in the NBA, ladies and gentlemen, Walter Bellamy.
It's good to be back in Indiana. I want to thank Coach McCracken for being a visionary to have recruited me in 1957 to come to Indiana. I want to thank Coach Davis and his staff for a tremendous year under tremendous adversity and for being successful and continuing the great mystique that we have in Indiana basketball. I would like to thank the fans who participated in the balloting, for they had a number of choices to make. And those choices did not only adhere to what happened in 1970 to 2001, but from their understanding and their knowledge of basketball, they gave all of the players who have donned the cream and the crimson an opportunity to be part of these 15 players this evening. What a tremendous reward as I stand here singly and hopefully speak on behalf of my colleagues who have again been the recipient of your vote. Thank you very much. I also would like to thank the athletic director and Brent and all of the ones at the IU Sports and so forth and so on, and the names, but what a tremendous weekend of festivity and a tremendous 2 days of festivity and hospitality they have presented to us, and to me especially have again elevated basketball and its players and participants to the greatest height. To my good friend Amos Hayes and the late Dr. Mays, I have to say this, Dr. Wells, I must admit that at Indiana, to my knowledge, the late Dr. Wells, each time I was privileged to have been the recipient of an honor or an award, was always in the audience. And I'm certainly grateful for that memory. On the other hand, there was a good friend of mine by the name of Amos Hayes, who also witnessed that aspect. And to my good friend, George Talafara and Judge Talafara, thank you for your support. And I want to thank all of my counselors, all of my advisors, all of the tutors who moved in with me, and to my good friend and distinguished colleague and professor who I would submit is probably doing some of the same things when I was playing, and that's Dr. Sam Newberg. I know Dr. Newberg is someplace in here, But thank you, yes, Dr. Newberg, thank you. When Kit and the staff gave me an opportunity to say talk for 1 or 2 minutes, I told them I had no 1 or 2 minute speeches, and so bear with me, I'll be through in a minute. But again, to Dr. Newberg and to Ted Weirad and to Dr. Dane and Dr. Theodore Deppie and Arthur Ludwig and Ted Brennan, I mean, the list goes on and on. And to my dean, who today, again, another visionary, Dean Mobley from the School of Health, Physical Education, and Recreation, who was here this evening. Thank you, Dean, for nurturing us to be at this place on this day. Thank you so much, Indiana, for having me.
Walter Bellamy.
Coverage of the 100 Years of Indiana Basketball celebration is brought to you by Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers.
As well as a 3-time All-Big Ten pick. He was the Big Ten Most Valuable Player in 1977. His 1,740 career points ranks 8th here at Indiana, and his 1,031 career rebounds is 3rd. He helped lead Indiana to its 3rd NCAA title with 25 points in the championship victory over Michigan in 1976. For his efforts, he was named Final Four MVP. From Newcastle, Indiana, number 54, Kent Benson.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach. Thank you very much. I stand before you humbled and honored to be a part of this elite all-century team at Indiana University. To all you fans, all you Indiana basketball fans, thank you for the tremendous support of Indiana basketball, for your kind award here of naming me to a part of this elite team. To my parents, Bob and Marianne Benson, my brother Kim, my sisters, Kathy, Karen, and Krista, I thank you, I love you, I appreciate all your support, time, energy, and effort, and love that you gave to me. To my 4 daughters, Andrea, Elizabeth, Jenny, Ashley, I love you and I'm so proud of y'all. To Coach Knight, to Coach Knight and his staff and all associated with Indiana basketball during my era, all the medical staff, the secretaries, the basketball managers, statisticians, to all my professors, and all the wonderful fans who took up for me, took me into their home and loved me like family, the Alexanders and the Bridges. There's so many people I want to say thank you to. As I look back to all my teammates, I want to thank them also. To all the players of the past, to all the players of the future, but to Mike Davis and this year's basketball team. I want to say this, Mike, and to you guys, okay? I am so proud of what you have done here this year. The adversity that you've had to overcome, being put in extreme conditions, and yet overcoming those. You've grown, you've matured, you're peaking at the right time. I'm so proud of what you represent, Indiana University basketball. To Miles Brand, to Clarence Doninger, to the Board of Trustees, we are all human and we all err. And yes, you did err in the way you handled the firing of Coach Knight. It's not the firing, it's the way it was handled. I encourage you not to compound that error by not naming Mike Davis as a basketball coach at Indiana University. You look at that score, and you see what these kids have overcome, and by the leadership of Mike Davis and his staff, I commend them, and I encourage you to sign them to a 3-year contract and allow him the opportunity to develop and mold this team into the national championship contenders that they have the potential of being. Five years. Forget the 3 years, you want 5 years, okay. You know, as I look back, what Indiana basketball means over 100 years, Indiana basketball has been represented here by the 15 members of this all-century team. And I'm so honored and so blessed, and I thank the Lord Jesus Christ for the opportunity to play basketball at Indiana University. And I thank each and every one of you fans. May the good Lord bless and keep you all.
Ken Benson, ladies and gentlemen.
Coverage of the 100 years of Indiana basketball celebration is brought to you by AutoZone, the right part, the right price, and good advice.
1990 through 93. During his 4 years here, the Hoosiers won 105 of its 132 games. During his final 3 years, IU was ranked in the top 10 in 51 out of 53 weeks, with 38 of them in the top 5. He was a 4-time selection as the team most valuable player, and following his senior season, he was named the College Player of the Year, unanimous first-team All-America, and Big Ten Most Valuable Player. A 3-time first-team All-Big Ten selection, he is the Big Ten Conference all-time leading scorer, 2,613 points. From Evansville, Indiana, Calbert Cheney.
Man, are these the greatest fans in the world or what? Thank you very much. I'd just like to say it's a tremendous honor to be chosen one of the 15 players of this century, which is, I'm at a loss for words, to be with guys like Walt Bellamy, Jimmy Rail, Archie Dees, Kent Benson, Damon Bailey. It's just unbelievable, and I'm tremendously honored. I would also like to thank my family, my beautiful wife and little son right here, that hopefully maybe 17 years from now, he might be dribbling the ball around here. You never know. Thanks a lot. You hear that? You hear that? It's happy birthday to you, buddy. 1 year, he turned 1 year old today. Also, I'd like to thank my beautiful mother, my beautiful sisters, my little handsome little nephew. Thank you for supporting me through all that, everything. Thank you for the coaching staff, Coach Knight, even though things didn't work out, I still love him very much. Man, I'd like to thank all the professors and everybody, the entire Indiana athletic program. They've done an excellent job through the adversity and everything. I mean, they've done an excellent job. I'm really proud of them. Also, I'd like to thank Coach Mike Davis. I've been watching you guys all year. You've done an excellent job. Continue working hard. You're going to improve. And when Mike Davis becomes coach, respect him. He will respect you. Lead him. Be good players. I mean, follow his lead, and you'll be just fine. And one more thing. There was no greater thrill in putting on an Indiana uniform and coming in here and not only playing for the world's greatest university, but the world's greatest fans. So, thanks a lot, and again, I'm tremendously honored. Thank you.
Calvert Cheney.
All right, we'll be back with more of the All-Century team after this. Indiana wins at 89-53.
His focus is complete. His determination, steely. This kind of mastery is not a learned skill, but rather an intuitive gift.
Stop it.
He seems tense.
Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers.
There's a lot of reasons why so many people who take care of their cars turn to AutoZone each week. The low prices on the replacement parts they really need, and the large selection of the things they simply want. But most of all, they come to AutoZone because of the helpful, friendly people who work there. The kind of folks who know their stuff and who'll go the extra mile to help you out. Because after all, taking pride in taking care of people is what AutoZone is all about.
I really didn't think I was going to go to college. You know, I came from a single-parent home, and my mom was doing the best she could for me, but it seemed like that we just weren't going to have the money. The people who made my scholarship possible gave me the gift of education. They're giving me a chance that I didn't think I was going to have. And they're giving a lot of other athletes a chance. I have 3 more years to go, and I'm really excited to see what those years are going to bring.
Help support a student athlete. Call the Varsity Club today at 855-0866.
And now for something uniquely different from Dodge. The Dodge Durango. For power, room, payload, and towing, Durango is just right. And since qualified returning Gold Key lessees can lease this Durango for just $277 a month, different may actually be even better. Dodge Durango. Different.
Our final score, 89-53, Indiana the win over Minnesota. The Hoosiers return to action on WB4 on Saturday when they travel to West Lafayette to do battle with their arch rivals, the Purdue Boilermakers. The excitement begins with IU warm-up at 7:30 right here on WB4. And now we'll take a look at a montage of all the players who made the All-Century team.
You've been watching the home of Indiana basketball, WB. Create the game room of your dreams at Q and Billiard Showcase. Q and Billiard offers a full range of game tables for all your entertainment needs. Come on in and see our wide selection of pool tables from Olhausen, the best in billiards. We also offer the best variety in pool and billiards accessories. Q and Billiards is home to the Barstool Gallery, the Midwest's largest selection of bar and counter stools priced to meet your budget. If you're looking for a pool table, game table, bar, or bar accessories, look no further. Come to Q and Billiards, located 2 blocks east of I-465 on Pendleton Pike.
And now for something uniquely different from Dodge. The Dodge Durango. For power, room, payload, and towing, Durango is just right. And since qualified returning Gold Key lessees can lease this Durango for just $277 a month, different may actually be even better. Dodge Durango. Different.
For 3 weeks only.
Buy spas and tanning beds at factory direct prices.
Cal Spas Viking and Proform will be competing for your business. Save thousands. Half off this 7-foot spa was $5,000, now $24.99. Cal Spas Pacifica Deluxe, powered by GE with fiber optic lights and CD, now only $49.99. 6 months, same as cash. Factory direct tanning beds, Elite 16, only $17.99. Euro beds, only $8.88.
Nobody beats us.
Watson's Factory Direct.
And we're dealing.
Martin's got a secret, and it could mean matrimony. I'd love another corn dog, Ma. On Frasier.
Wednesday night at 11 on WB4. We now join our